More snow promised this afternoon. The AFC Central Division standings look like this. By Fireside, Cleveland 7-4-1. They're hanging on. Houston, Pittsburgh, and Cincinnati are all right there, and something's got to shake today because they're all playing against each other. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Jim Donovan, along with Bob Trumpy. It is ice cold. We'll talk about the weather as the afternoon goes along. A tale of two different past weeks. Pittsburgh won a game that nobody expected them to win last week in Miami. Houston had a nightmare in Kansas City getting shut out, so the keys, Trump.
Well, I think for Houston, they have to run the football. They have to be able to get Ernest Givens and Drew Hill in the football game. And for Pittsburgh, last week they got 95 yards rushing out of Tim Worley. They got to do that today. And, of course, Houston, the best rushing defense in the AFC, a very tough task for Pittsburgh.
And the big question mark still around Houston has to be the injuries.
Yeah, no question about that. Very little hitting this week. Jerry Glanville said we didn't touch each other. We want to make sure we are healthy. Givens and Hill are the two main factors on the offense. They're not going to start. They'll be used sparingly. But Jerry Glanville realizes that this physical Pittsburgh football team is going to make it very difficult on his injury-laden team.
There's Glanville, fourth season as Oilers head coach. He had a tough week of practice with all of those injuries. On the other sideline, Chuck Noll has his team back in it. Very proud of the way they played in Miami. As a matter of fact, he got the game ball last week, I guess for the great coaching job. He didn't want to admit it to us, but he got the game ball after the big win in Miami.
That was an absolutely remarkable win when you consider that Pittsburgh was down 14-0. Had gone 3 downs and out 3 straight times, and then suddenly turned it around and blew the Miami Dolphins off the field.
So that's the way it looks series-wise, and of course there's a lot of bad blood between these two teams. They just plain old don't like each other as Kenny Johnson takes the opening kickoff for the Oilers from his goal line, finds a crease, gets hit out over the 25-yard line to the 26, where he's brought down by Gerald Williams, a linebacker. And here come the Oilers on offense, where they were absolutely stymied last week. The offensive line is a bit healthier. Jay Pennison gets the start at center. He's got a bad knee, and Bruce Matthews goes back to his normal spot at right guard. Moon with Highsmith and Rozier. They'll be big factors in the game. They want to run. Jeffries and Duncan get the start because of the injuries, and Morosco's at tight end. When they go to the red gun, here's what happens. Givens and Drew Hill will come in, the injured wide receivers who normally start. So out over their own 25-yard line at the 26. Rozier and Highsmith ready to go, and Rozier gets the first carry and brings it out to the 30-yard line. Olszewski is in on the tackle, the rookie out of Pitt, a 10th-round draft choice for the Steelers. Let's check the Steelers' front seven. Willis, Williams, and Johnson getting better week by week. The linebackers, Hinkle, Little, Olszewski, who made that last tackle, and Greg Lloyd. Now, when they go to their dime package in a passing situation, here's what happens. Into the dime they go. Aaron Jones comes up front. Williams, Griffin, and Hall to join this secondary of Woodruff Woodson, the rookie Carnell Lake, and Thomas Everett. 2nd and 7 from the 30. 2 wide receiver set. It's Rozier again. Second time he carries the ball out over the 30 to the 32-yard line. Game tackle. The strong safety, the rookie out of UCLA. Loose ball, fumble. Officials say Pittsburgh has it. Rozier coughs it up. David Little comes up with the ball as Mike Rozier coughs it up, and the snow is flying here at Three Rivers.
That's the way Pittsburgh played last week against Miami. Very opportunistic defense coming up with the 5 turnovers, and this football team feeds on turnovers.
David Little with the fumble recovery, and look at the field position now. Bubby Brister and the Steelers drop down into their first set at the Houston 32-yard line. Malarkey, the tight end, in motion. They give it off, and here comes Worley off a 95-yard rushing game last week in the rain in Miami, and he goes inside the 30 to the 29-yard line. Ben Bryant, your referee for today. Let's go back now to the Rozier run and see what happened on that fumble play as Grimsley is down injured.
Man in support is Carnell Lake, the strong safety. Rozier comes around the corner. He still has the ball. There you see it loose. Combination hit by Gerald Williams, the nose tackle, 98. Ball is loose. Interesting that Pittsburgh began this season -8 on the takeaway giveaway, and right now at 6-6 they are +7.
We'll be back as the snow is flying here in a winter setting. No score early from Pittsburgh. fumble recovery. The Steelers this season, 33 takeaways, tied for the lead in the AFC with Denver. Also, of course, a great defensive team this year.
That's the 17th fumble recovery the Steelers have come up with. That's the 10th time the Houston Oilers have fumbled it away.
John Grimsley was the injured Oiler as he walked off under his own power. Eugene Seal comes in, a much smaller linebacker, in his place. 2nd and 7. Worley again. To the 25. Pushback at the 26-yard line. Fairs is in on the tackle for the Oilers, the linebacker 51. Here's the Steelers' offensive line getting better and better each week. Jackson, Reensford, Dawson, Long, and Tunchilkin in the backfield. It's Brister with Hodge and Worley. We've seen a lot of the rookie out of Georgia so far. Lips was held without a catch last week. Hill and Malarkey, there's the tight end. Now when they go into their shotgun, Carter comes in, and Mark Stock, a rookie out of VMI, Virginia Military Institute, comes in as wide receiver. It is now 3rd down and 3. Ball is on the 25-yard line. Rodney Carter checks in for the Steelers and goes in motion. Brister from the shotgun, first time today. And Carter is open over the middle inside the 20 down at the 17-yard line, and a first down. And Brister loves that play. That was wide open as Rodney Carter makes the catch. Let's check the Oiler defense. The Oilers, with their front 7, Childress, Smith, Fuller gets the start today. Fairs, Grimsley, Smith, and Johnny Means. Robert Lyles is missing, and that's an important miss for the Oilers defensively. Into the dime they go. Jones, Johnson, Dishman come in, and the Oilers secondary, Brown, Allen, McDowell, the rookie, and Donaldson. 1st and 10, Pittsburgh. And they hand it off the left side. It goes to Merrill Hodge, and Hodge bangs inside the 15 down to the 14-yard line, where Ray Childress out of Texas A&M makes the stop.
Jim, very important that Pittsburgh just converted that 3rd down, come into the ball game with the worst 3rd down conversion percentage in the league. That's Tom Moore. He is the offensive coordinator, and Rick Strom is the man who signals the plays into Bubby Brister. If Pittsburgh can convert 3rd downs, it extends this offense, gives them a little more ball possession, and they can be in the game.
Derek Hill and Lewis Lips on the same side of the field, right at the bottom of your screen. Worley and Hodge behind Brister. Lips set in motion on 2nd down. Here comes Worley. He fumbles and recovers his own fumble inside the 5. No, he doesn't have his own fumble, as he had it for a second, then it popped loose. But one of the offensive linemen, I believe, that was leading him on the way, it's John Reenstra. He recovers the fumble.
Last week, Pittsburgh featured Worley running to the right. Again, they're featuring the same thing. You see the guard pull out, or the tackle pull out in front, Tunchilkin. Donaldson, 31, makes the hit. And as that ball bounces free, Reenstra comes up with the recovery. 1st and goal, Pittsburgh. Initial drive of the game.
Wolfley comes in now and is eligible to receive. Look at Worley. He had a terrible opening game of the season against Cleveland. That's where a lot of those fumbles happen. 1st and goal. It's Worley again. Big hit as he gets down near the goal line. Jeff Donaldson is on top for the Oilers. He's close inside the 2-yard line.
Did you hear that hit?
You really could hear that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. When it gets cold, this plastic that they wear underneath those jerseys gets very, very brittle. Helmets, too. And all of a sudden, it almost sounds like bells ringing when people clash down there.
2nd down and goal from at the 1-yard line as we flip through the early returns on this 13th Sunday. Here are the Steelers, 2nd and goal. Hodge gets it, and he goes inside the 1-yard line, but does not score. Merrill Hodge, who had 3 touchdowns last week against Miami. He's the go-to guy down near the end zone. Donaldson, once again, is in on the tackle along with Kenny Johnson.
Pittsburgh has had problem running the ball in short yardage situations. This time they choose to go left behind Wolfley, 73, Jackson, 65, O'Shea, the tight end. Defense captures the line of scrimmage, so I think if I'm Chuck Noll, I don't care if I make it a 3rd and goal. I go for it on 4th and goal, too. 8th play of this drive.
And remember, the drive started deep in Houston territory after the Rozier fumble at the 32. 3rd down and goal. It's Worley with a dive, and Houston shuts him down on a great defensive stand. Boy, they were all there. In fact, they might have thrown him back. They say they recover a loose ball. But the officials say no right now.
Ben Dreith is the referee. They're sending Anderson in for the field goal attempt. I'm rather surprised.
And not a popular decision right now.
Yeah, I think in a game like this, between 2 AFC Central Division opponents, you have to establish a certain psychology of the game. There's Chuck Noll right there. I realize he wants points, but I think you can take psychological control of the game. Ball does not break the plane of the end zone. I'd go for it here.
Anderson on the season, 15 of 23 for the early lead. It's up and good. Gary Anderson with an 18-yard field goal. The Oilers fumble. The Steelers cash in with a field goal and lead 3-0 in this AFC Central battle. Back to Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh. We're playing in minus 25-degree wind chill today. Chuck Noll decides to go for a field goal by Gary Anderson on 3rd down and goal, on 4th down and goal, actually, from the 1-yard line. It was good, and Pittsburgh kicks it away. Kenny Johnson from his own 10. And again, he finds a crease and goes out over the 30-yard line to the 33. He's brought down by David Johnson of the Steelers.
I've kind of derided Chuck Noll for going for the field goal, but you can see the Oilers' numbers against the run. Chuck Noll has been accused by a lot of people here in Pittsburgh of never changing, of going with the percentages, of always going with the percentages. I shouldn't be surprised that he doesn't take the chance on 4th and goal at the 1-yard line.
The ball is out at the 33-yard line of Houston. Rozier fumbled on the first possession, and Alan Pickett's in the backfield right now, along with Alonzo Highsmith. Here comes Pickett. Bad footing, and he goes down. Pickett was covered up by Osalski and Gerald Williams as Pickett started left, tried to make the cutback, and went right down.
You know, Glanville putting Pickett in is very characteristic of Jerry Glanville. When a player fumbles or drops a pass or misses a coverage early for Jerry Glanville in Houston, he gets him out of there. Rozier goes out, Pickett comes in. The footing here should not affect the Houston Oilers offense that much. They're more of an at the line of scrimmage running game. They don't trap a lot like Pittsburgh does.
Down at the bottom of the screen, Ernest Gibbons, 81, is in the lineup now at wide receiver. He missed last week. He got hurt in the Raider game. Fake by Moon, rolling out. He'll keep it and should get a first down as he steps out of bounds out near the 44-yard line. A good decision by Warren Moon, who actually I think is the number 3 rusher in this Houston offense.
And he told us last night he was running on his own this year. Kind of put it to his own game plan. It looked like Alonzo Highsmith was the intended receiver. You see him sitting at fullback right behind Moon. Watch, he fakes, then he'll go right across the line of scrimmage. Now the linebacker, Greg Lloyd, does a great job here. He doesn't let Moon throw the ball, but then the fake freezes the linebacker. Moon picks up the first down.
Out at the 44-yard line, he entered the game with 222 yards rushing. Not bad, huh? 1st and 10, Houston's first. Here comes Pickett. Trapped. Goodbye. Gerald Williams had him and never let him go.
Yeah, Pickett's not going to work good on this field. The running back they need is either Lorenzo White or Mike Rozier. I don't care if he fumbles it or not. Pinkett is kind of a bula back. You know, he jumps around here and there, and when you have slick footing on this AstroTurf, you need somebody who's going to fire up in there. See, his choice to go outside was the wrong one. Nose tackle Gerald Williams makes the tackle for a loss.
Carnell Lake came up to try and help out. It's 2nd down, 14 as he loses 4 on that play back at the Houston 40-yard line. Now the red gun set, 4 wide receivers in. Drew Hill playing with a sore back. He checks in. Moon pump fake, throws across the middle, out near midfield, down to the 46-yard line. Is it a catch? It looked like it might have been scooped up by Gibbons.
There's no signal. They're saying incomplete pass. They're bringing it back.
Good trap hop by Gibbons.
I saw no official signal anything. We're watching it. He comes from the left. Ball looks like it might have been tipped by Carnell Lake. I can't tell from that catch, from that angle, but that looked like a catch to me. That might be worth a review. Never can't tell. Umpire looks like he's talking. Yeah, they are going to look at it again.
Replay official is Cal Lepore. Our first use of replay today. Gibbons, who missed last week, gets into the action right away here in Pittsburgh. Here it is again now. Does he have it?
Looked like Carnell Lake got his hand on it. I can't tell from that either. And of course, with the review, you need irrefutable evidence to overturn the call on the field. Of the 3 angles we've seen, I don't think Cal Lepore can make a decision to overturn the call.
Review. The play stands. Incomplete pass.
Not enough evidence to rule the other way.
So it's 3rd and 14. A very big call now because Houston's in trouble here is Jerry Glanville. Not a big weekend last weekend in Kansas City with the officials. He had a long day with the officials. And right now he's got a long day right here. 3rd down and 14 as the crowd picks it up here in Pittsburgh.
You know, he told us last night he was not upset with his team being penalized 16 times, but he said, how can we be penalized 16 times, Kansas City just twice?
3rd and 14. Red gun set again. 4 wide receivers. 1 back. Highsmith is the back. Moon with a lot of time. Going for Drew Hill. Incomplete. Excellent coverage. Carnell Lake is over there along with Thomas Everett. Both safeties end up with Hill.
Double coverage. Well covered by Pittsburgh. Now Houston has to punt into a very stiff wind.
When they punted last week, it was a disaster twice. Montgomery had 1 deflected and 1 blocked. The one that was blocked ended up as a touchdown for Kansas City. Look at those goalposts swaying back and forth. That's the wind situation. Here's Montgomery. Woodson is deep for the Steelers.
That's a good punt.
Hits at the 18. Can he make anything happen? He's trapped and goes down right away. Good coverage. Fairs is down on the coverage along with Eugene Seal, but the first man down there was Bubba McDowell. 48-yard punt, 1-yard return, 3-0 Steelers. The 49ers off the Monday night victory have a field goal lead in their game. 1st and 10. With the Steelers leading 3-0 on an 18-yard Gary Anderson field goal. Faked by Brisker. Sack. Johnny Meads inside the 5-yard line at the 4. As Brister did play action fake and Meads didn't bite at all.
They hadn't run the ball enough. I mean, the play action doesn't work unless there's a threat to run the football. Now with the wind, you see Meads right there in front of you. He jumps outside of Malarkey 84. That's going to be full pass protection. There are only 2 guys in the entire pass route. That was the 2 outside guys. Meads, first sack of the day for either team.
Big day for Johnny Meads. He's making the defensive calls too. With the injury to Robert Lyles, the ball is at the 6-yard line. 2nd and 22. That's Lips in motion. They give the ball off to Worley. Worley gets out near the 10-yard line.
Houston, when they go to the long yardage set defensively, they move their all-pro defensive end, Ray Childress, into the nose. You can see him right over to Monty Johnson, the center. Now, this is the run. They got a double team him. Long, kind of a double and rub. Good pursuit by Houston. That's only about a 2-yard gain.
Childress, 8.5 sacks on the season. Let's see if he can get in right now. Brister out of the shotgun, 3rd and 16. But deep in his own territory at the 12. Handles a low snap. Rolling. Firing.
Look at this.
Looking long. Incomplete. Intended for Mark Stock down at the 25-yard line.
He threw that ball from his own 5 to the Houston 25. That is a heave.
Well, he did have a little wind, but it's still a heave, right?
That rock today is hard, but he still gets it done. Good coverage here by Houston. When he rolls out, he sees the guy way deep. This is a heave.
Mark Stock, there he is.
Boy, that's, without great coverage, that's a catch.
And Bob Early, when he first let it go, Stock was open. He was ahead of the pack. Harry Newsom's first punt of the day. Kenny Johnson ready to tape it back from the end zone. Gets it away. Johnson with a flag down is whipped down by Dwight Stone. That's the 42-yard line.
That's going to come back, though. That's holding against Pittsburgh. They're going to have to punt it again.
Holding, you're right, against Pittsburgh, as Ben Greith gives you the indication. And on a day like this and deep in their own territory and pushing him back deeper in the end zone right now, they'll force him to kick it again.
Sure, you also make the punt team run twice that 45-yard sprint.
Let's go back just a second now. Houston fumbles. Pittsburgh ends up with a field goal after getting field position deep in Houston's territory. But Houston's defense really shut Pittsburgh down that time and didn't give up the touchdown. It seems like that defense is fed off that now.
Well,
Kicking team number 99 was holding. They declined the penalty. Houston's ball, first down.
That was A.J. Jenkins on the hold. They're going to take the ball at the spot at about the 44-yard line.
Pittsburgh surprised they had the punting team out there again. We'll be right back.
It's a Radio Shack.
First quarter, it's 3-0 Pittsburgh. And what about that, Bob? Houston has really shut them down as Pittsburgh got the big early break.
Jim, I think your point is well taken. Anytime the other team gets a turnover, you can hold them to 3 points. It's a psychological advantage for you. That's why I was surprised Pittsburgh did not go for it on 4th and inches at the Houston goal line.
Moon giving to Pinkett. Tries to get to the outside again, and there's too much traffic there. And actually, he tripped over Highsmith, who was pushed back by one of the oncoming defensive people. Keith Willis is over there on the tackle, though. But Highsmith went down, and Pinkett got locked in his legs.
This is a lead blocking team. You'll see Highsmith 32 on the right. They're firing Keith Willis on Steinkuhler, 93 on 70. Makes Pinkett go outside. And then Thomas Everett, 27 there, along with Hinkle to assist on the tackle. I repeat, I do not believe this is Alan Pinkett's type of game. They need Rozier at running back.
A loss of 1, 2nd and 11. Out of the two-back set, they normally run 70% of the time. But not this time. Boom. Looping it, Jeffries comes back, tries to get the hands underneath. The official says, yes, he's got it at the 36.
Now, one says he doesn't, the other one says he does.
And the other official that said no is going to get the call.
Well, again, always reviewable. Rod Woodson is the man in coverage. That ball was underthrown. See if we can pick it up again. Jeffrey stops, comes back for the ball. Ooh, I think that's a catch. I think that's a catch.
I agree with you. I think he came back and got it. Let's see again.
This is an excellent job of coming back for the football by Jeffries. Woodson didn't even see the ball coming. Well, the umpire is going to look at it. The replay is going to look at it once again. From that angle, it appears that he cradles the ball.
And the ball almost hit off his forearm up into his numbers.
Yes. So here, it looks like he makes the catch. On this one, see if we can see that ball come down through the forearm. I don't see any shadow of the ball or any contact with the turf. I think that's a close call. That's a very difficult one to make.
After review by the replay official, the play stands. Incomplete pass.
And for the second time today, Houston's had that kind of call go against them on trap catches.
Now, it may be that because they're going into the wind, that ball is going to dive a great deal in this first quarter. But so far, Coach Glanville and his group, they have not gotten a call in their favor.
And Moon is 0 for 3 and looking at 3rd and 11 with Highsmith in the backfield with him. Gibbons in motion. 4 wide receiver set. From the backside, but Moon got rid of it, and Drew Hill makes a great catch down at the 45-yard line, and a lot of traffic coming from the outside. Aaron Jones drilled Moon from the blind side.
Houston likes the crossing patterns. Now, of course, Hill is playing with that broken transverse process on his back, the little spiny things that stick out of your vertebrae. He has not practiced a great deal in the last 2.5 or 3 weeks. This is good pass protection. Right at the end of this play, you'll see from the left, Warren Moon almost gets hammered, but he stands in there. Big completion for Houston, his first completion of the day.
Look at Hill pull that ball away from Rod Woodson. 1st and 10 at the Pittsburgh 45. Lorenzo White's first carry as he gets down to the Pittsburgh 41-yard line, brought down by Aaron Jones and Thomas Everett. So there's Lorenzo White out of Michigan State. Here's the ticker now. Cleveland and Cincinnati still scoreless up there. Remember, they have that kind of weather that we have here. Kansas City by 6 over Miami. And the Patriots are on the board with a field goal at Sullivan Stadium in Foxborough. 14-0 the Eagles over the Giants. Green Bay by a touchdown. Detroit by a touchdown. The Rams by 2 touchdowns. And the 49ers maintaining their lead. 2nd down, 6. 4 on the last play for White. And he'll get it again. And he goes to the outside. Hit, stays up, and hit again. Everybody had a pop at him, and David Little finally brings him down.
Woodson helps on the outside. This Pittsburgh defense is very good at playing the whole man on the offensive line. What that makes the offense do is look for the alternate route. Now you watch Lorenzo White get up in there, and he sees nothing there. Now he starts bouncing outside. Then the pursuit. Greg Lloyd is out there, slows him down. Then Woodson, then Everett, then Little finally on the tackle. So another big third down here for Houston against the wind.
Ball blows away, and it blew a long way away, so they have to reset it down at the Pittsburgh 40. 3rd and 5 with 1:59 left in the quarter. 4 wide receivers in the game now for Houston as Drew Hill is in motion. Near side rollout, Moon in trouble again. Throwing, Jeffries can't get it. Great coverage by Woodson, who came back and knocked the ball away. And our first little altercation as Woodson and Jeffries exchanging words, and Curtis Duncan gets in there to play peacemaker.
Boone is on the rollout here. He's looking at the primary receivers on the right side. No one there. And then because he's running left, he can't really put any steam on it. Woodson again right there in Haywood Jeffries' face, and Woodson does a great job to knock that ball away. Oh, they must punt.
Montgomery's second punt of the afternoon, back at the 46-yard line, his own. And Rod Woodson stands at the 10. Line drives it, but it bounces at the 20. Inside the 15, down to the 13-yard line. It looked terrible, but it gets the job done, doesn't it?
I think Houston will take that.
Dishman goes down and touches on it. 27-yard punt for Montgomery. Doubleheader day here on NBC. Hope you're staying warm and watching this one. Coming up is our second one. Stay tuned for the second half of the doubleheader on most of these NBC stations. The Los Angeles Raiders drive for a wild card berth. They face a challenge today when they host the Western Division champion Denver Broncos immediately following today's game. 1st and 10. Ball is at the 13-yard line. 3-0 Pittsburgh on an 18-yard Gary Anderson field goal. But for the second time, they have terrible field position as Worley tries to cut, and Fuller's there along with Doug Smith and everybody else in a white jersey as they knock him down.
Actually, throughout this first quarter, even with the turnover by Houston, Houston has had the better of the field position.
Absolutely.
They've done a great job of keeping Pittsburgh backed up now with 1:12 and counting left in the first quarter. If they can stretch this out enough, they can make Newsome punt against the wind, which should give them good field position again.
No gain for Worley on that last carry. 2nd and 10. Lips and Derek Hill, the wide receivers. Brister across the middle, and it is caught by Mike Mularkey, the tight end. Out to the 25-yard line. And that's a first down for Pittsburgh.
For years, Pittsburgh has been accused of being so conservative. They don't throw to the tight end. They don't run the shotgun. Tom Moore told me yesterday, he said, they don't have anything to complain about now. We run the shotgun. We throw the ball to the tight end. So nobody has anything to say about it. There's Tom Moore, the offensive coordinator. Mularkey last week against Miami, a huge catch in the rain.
Only 24 seconds, and it's running down left here in the first quarter. Brister giving to Merrill Hodge. And Hodge right up the gut goes short of the 30-yard line to the 28 as they are running down here in the first quarter with just 9 seconds left. And that will do it for period number 1. Mike Rozier's fumble turns into a Gary Anderson field goal of 18 yards. And Bubby Brister's Steelers lead 3-0 after 1 from Pittsburgh.
Watch the line play here. Dermontti Dawson, the center. John Reenstra, the left guard. Nice double and rub on Doug Smith and Grimsley. Worley only picks up 3 yards. You'd expect a little more yardage out of that play. That Houston defense swarming to the football. Dawson, the guy, of course, who replaced Mike Webster, one of this franchise's all-time greatest players.
First quarter numbers. First downs. Steelers with 3. Rushing, the Steelers better than the Oilers right there. Passing, it's going to be a tough day to throw in this cold weather. So it's a field position game right now, and a turnover really has decided so far the only points on the board.
We also only have just 1 penalty, which was declined.
It's 25 degrees, wind chill factor below 0 here at Three Rivers Stadium. That's why you see some empty seats. People had tickets. We are sold out here today. But look at the wind and the wind chill as we have played 1 quarter. We've had snow flurries, Some squalls coming in throughout the afternoon so far. Early, Pittsburgh leads 3-0 on a Gary Anderson field goal. It's 2nd and 7 at the Pittsburgh 28-yard line. That's Lips in motion. The fake to Hodge. Brister's got Mularkey open. Can't pull it down. A one-handed grab. It would have been a beauty out at the 48-yard line, and he had running room after that, too.
Jim, did you see what the wind did to the ball? Took it completely out of the spiral. There was a gust of wind. Now watch what happens when he rolls. Good play action fake. See the linebackers go with Worley. Now Mularkey is right at the top right corner of the screen. Well, watch the ball. The wind just gets it totally out of spiral. Not a poorly thrown ball, but just the trajectory is changed by the wind gust.
And of course, in the first quarter, we saw Moon's passes doing the same kind of things, but dipping, and that's why we had 2 traps by the Houston wide receivers. 1 for 3 on third down conversions for the Steelers. They're looking at 3rd and 7 right now with Rodney Carter in motion. Brister steps up, looping it for Derek Hill. He's got it. And a first down to the 46-yard line, the rookie from Arizona.
This young man is a heck of a story. Last 2 seasons at Arizona went to the wishbone. He didn't catch the ball a great deal. Wasn't sure that anyone in the NFL was going to really pay attention to him. But he started about the last 4 weeks. Brister does a good job of avoiding the rush. And again, the ball out of round, out of spiral because of the wind. Still good concentration, picks up the first down.
Steve Brown over to make the coverage. 16-yard pass play. Derek Hill had 3 catches last week. That's his first of the afternoon today. Lewis Lips this time in motion. They give it to Worley. Worley to the midfield stripe inside Houston territory. A nice running play by the Steelers on first down. Will pick them up some good yardage down to the 47 of Houston.
Well, I'm sure Jerry Glanville was hoping that against the wind, Houston would be able to shut down Pittsburgh and get good field position. Pittsburgh's having none of that.
Still no score in Cleveland. Kansas City 13-0 over Miami. Are the Chiefs coming on? New England 6-0 over Indianapolis. The Giants get on the board. Detroit leading over New Orleans. And in our other games, the Rams by 14 over Dallas, and San Francisco 6-0 over Atlanta. Fumble on the exchange as Brister loses the ball, but it's recovered by the Steelers. As Johnny on the spot was Merrill Hodge, I believe it is. Hodge covering up. Standing right over him was Eric Ferris trying to pop down and get it.
We got an injured player, too, for the Houston Oilers.
And they cannot afford many more injuries. It's down on the field is Smith.
You can see the snow falling, and the ball just slips away. Now, when it's this cold, Jim, that ball is like it's made out of plastic. It is slick. It is hard. You can't compress the ball at all. So the quarterback and the center are going to have to be careful.
House of Pain. Three Rivers today, the House of Steel. And steel-hearted fans today to be here in this snowstorm right now on third down and short yardage, 3rd and 3. Brister, it's a direct snap to Merrill Hodge. He'll get the first down. That's a play out of the Oilers playbook.
Brister does a great job of faking this, but watch Dermontti Dawson and Terry Long. They do a great job of just giving the nice little crack there for Merrill Hodge. Big pickup.
15
nice third down conversion.
15-yard pickup on a direct snap play. Great fake by Brister. They go back to Hodge on more of the conventional type of handoff, and he goes inside the 35 down to the 32-yard line. And he is brought down there as the snow is coming down, and the field is now getting covered by the snow.
Once again, that big play. Watch Brister. Jumps up in the air like the snap is too high. Nice little fold block by Dawson and Terry Long. And Hodge, a good, tough downhill runner. Goal line to goal line. 15 yards and a third down conversion.
In a winter-type setting, Brister settles the crowd down. 2nd and 7 at the 31 of Houston. 3-0 Pittsburgh. Second quarter. Reverse to Lips. And it's well blocked. To the 20-yard line. And Brister got to block himself, too.
handoff to Hodge, who gives it to Lewis Lips. He cuts inside. You did see the block there by Bubby Brister, an 11-yard pickup. Doug Smith, the nose tackle, is the guy who eventually makes the stop.
I like playing in the snow, said Bubby Brister to us yesterday. A lot better than the Oilers.
Well, he's got his wish.
First and 10 at the 20 of Houston. I'll tell you what, the Steelers have the Oilers on their heels right now with these trick plays. Here's Worley. That's a power play, though, inside the 20 down to the 16-yard line, and Bubba McDowell is over there to make the stop.
You got to wonder how Tim Worley throughout this game will function, coming out of Georgia and North Carolina. Not really used to carrying the ball on AstroTurf, and also with snow all over that AstroTurf.
He's used to running between the hedges down there in Georgia. Right now he's running between the snowmen here in Pittsburgh. At the 16-yard line, a 4-yard pickup, second and 6, 10:48 left in the first half. Brister trying to settle the crowd down, but they have been electrified by some of the great plays by the Steelers. Another reverse. Yes, it's Lips again. Cut back 10 to the 4-yard line. First and goal, Steelers.
They are yelling, Lou, Lou, Lou. Very seldom do you see two reverses in the same drive and have both of them work. This one's even better. Worley, a good block on Meads. That's Jeff Donaldson out there. He assists, slows him down a little bit, and then Meads comes back to make the tackle. A 12-yard pickup. Two reverses in the same series of plays, and both work.
And they're good for 23 yards on both of those carries by Lips as he was shaken up on the tackle, and he's coming off the field right now. He's replaced by Ouija Thompson, who will come in. It's first and goal at the 4 now for Pittsburgh. Jerry Glanville on the Houston bench, hoping that his defense can dig in like they did the first time. Now they dug in and shut Pittsburgh down in the first quarter. The Houston bench, they're all huddled up on one of those warm-me-up benches. Merrill Hodge, bang, scrap, scores!
Jim, that was a very impressive drive. Started at their own 15-yard line. 85 yards later, Hodge takes it in. Last week he had 3 rushing touchdowns, and he gets this one in.
Out of the hold of Harry Newsom. Extra points become a little more than academic in this weather, but this one is good. 10 minutes to go in the first half. Merrill Hodge's touchdown has given Pittsburgh a 10-0 lead.
We're going to watch this touchdown again when we feature Terry Long. You hear that Pittsburgh is a great trapping team. Watch that right guard pull up there. Boom. He hits 54 Smith, drives him out of the way, and Merrill Hodge dives in for the touchdown. 10-0 Pittsburgh.
Brister and Hodge with the hug. Gary Anderson with a kickoff and a 10-0 Steeler lead. A line drive on the ground kick. Going to be picked up by Tracy Johnson. Johnson's got some room to run.
Fumble.
And fumbles, and Pittsburgh had it, lost it, but did they have possession? I don't think so. I think they're going to give it to Tracy Johnson. Larry Griffin had the ball, but never really had possession. And that's the key right there.
When that ball rolls out of bounds, it's the last team that clearly possessed the football. You can see he's trying to move it from one side to the other.
Watch Anderson. He had it originally, then Griffin, but he never can control it.
Gerald Williams makes the contact. We have the officials who are talking on the sideline. You see that coach is going all over, getting all over the Houston Oilers players. Ben Dreit and his group are standing there on the sideline, which is very difficult to distinguish with this snow. Now he finally says Houston ball.
saw them on the sideline telling Tracy Johnson, cover up that football. You can't carry it out like that.
91, Williams makes the contact, and then the ball is free and loose. Almost recovered by Griffin. You can see the players on the sideline, but where is the sideline itself? It's very difficult to pick out.
The coach was Richard Smith, who was going right after Tracy Johnson, who's only a rookie fullback for the Oilers. But good field position for the Oilers starting right now at their own 43-yard line. Are we still reviewing this play?
No one's doing anything. But the disadvantage that the replay official is going to have, Jim, is that it's very hard to see the sidelines.
In fact, there's Cal Laporte in the replay booth right now.
He's the guy standing up with the glasses.
The play stands. Houston's ball.
Certainly a missed opportunity by Pittsburgh.
Griffin really doesn't have it there. And Merrill Hodges on the side. I believe Merrill Hodges on the sideline.
Yes, he's not on the field.
Right. 43-yard line, 1st and 10. Oilers dodge a bullet. Now have to get back into the game. Down by 10. Lorenzo White with a hold. Midfield, Pittsburgh 48-yard line. Up close to a first down. Woodson and Everett come up from the secondary to make the tackle.
Seems almost a shame to dirty up this field with all those little footprints, you know.
It looks like deer have been running through, right?
Yes, someone's backyard. But I notice now that Houston has Lorenzo White. They've taken Alan Pinkett out. White, Highsmith, and Rozier are good backs in this kind of footing. Alan Pinkett, I don't think, can do much for the Houston Oilers today from the running back spot, that is.
There's Jay Pennison ready to snap the ball up to Warren Moon with Ernest Gibbons in motion. 2nd and 1. White has the first down and barrels ahead inside the Pittsburgh 45 to the 43-yard line. NFL Live headlines today. Strictly a legal block by 49ers on Lawrence Taylor from Bill Walsh. Eric Dickerson totally serious about retiring after next year. What do you think about that, Trump?
I don't agree with that.
Kevin Mack may see action for the Browns today. It's short yardage situation. Ahmad Rashad talked to him just prior to the game in Cleveland. NFL Live coming up. Scores and highlights at halftime. Here comes Lorenzo White again. White inside the 40-yard line with a flag down. Gerald Williams, the nose tackle, is in on the stop, but as we said, we have a flag down.
That's going to be against the defense, too. Last week, of course, Houston had this happen to them. Steve DeBerg had him jumping all over the place, and today Warren Moon.
Offside, number 93. They took the penalty. 5 yards and first down.
Keith Willis was the man in the neutral zone.
It could have either been. It could have been 93 or 98. They took 93.
Jim,
they were both there.
Houston is almost in a situation where this is a game-saving drive. Even second quarter, if they don't get this ball down the field, get points of some sort, Houston's in deep trouble.
8:09 left in the half. 10-0 Steelers. It's 1st and 5 at the 38. White nailed. David Little is in there with Gerald Williams, and Lorenzo White didn't have a prayer on that play.
This Houston Oilers offensive line is a very big offensive line. The defensive line of the Pittsburgh Steelers, not very, very big, but they do a great job of taking the middle of the man, plugging up the holes. And there you see Gerald Williams, along with Aaron Jones, David Little assisting on the tackle. Good job of just standing up that offensive line and allowing no place for the running back to run.
A loss of 1 on that last play. 2nd and 6 now from the 39-yard line. 4 wide receivers in for the Oilers with Gibbons in motion. Highsmith deep in the backfield. He'll get the call. And he just gets a couple of yards. Let's go to New York. NFL Live update. And we join Bob Costas. Thanks, Bob. 10-0 here. Steelers leading over Houston. 6:40 to go in the half. 3rd down and 3. Moon's changing the play, shuttling it down to the wide receivers. Looking, dumping, and the catch is made. And a loose ball on the ground as Hill makes the catch down at the 26-yard line, and that's a first down for Houston. So Drew Hill, his second catch of the day, you can kind of see him holding that back.
Yeah, he can run, but he can't take a hit because of that broken bone in his back. Hill goes in motion. He's the second receiver in. He's very deliberate in this pattern. Just waits for everybody to clear out. Moon rolls left. Hinkle loses track of him. And then Jerry Olszewski there. But Hill makes the catch for a big first down.
Not ruled a fumble on that play. First and 10, 27-yard line. Looks like the Steelers jumped again, although there's no flag, so they must have gotten back as Lorenzo White creases the right side and gets inside the 25 to the 24-yard line. A reminder to our viewers, we'll be selecting the Budweiser Most Valuable Player for today's game at the conclusion of the game. So Lorenzo White, 22 yards on 6 rushes. A couple of weeks ago, Jerry Glanville told us he was playing very well against the Raiders, running the way they really wanted him to, but his confidence kind of took a bit of a dip when he fumbled in that game. Second down 6. Believe us, the ball is at the 23. I know it's hard to make out where it is because of the snow. White again to the 20, to the 19. You count them. What, 6 Steelers right there? Of course, they're coming up in gang tackling, and somebody might be able to pop that ball loose. They did that to Rozier earlier. We haven't seen him since.
Tim Johnson assisted on the tackle along with David Little. There's Rod Russ, the defensive coordinator. He's calling the defense there. It looks like Pittsburgh is going with their nickel package. 3 linebackers come out. Well, that's the wave of the game today. Hand signals from the sideline. They look like third base coaches in baseball.
Hold up from the 19-yard line. 3rd and 2. 4 wide receivers, but Moon is right under center, not out of the shotgun. Moon, a lot of time. Gibbons wide open. And he slides safely down close to the 5-yard line and a first down.
You know, this may sound stupid, but if you take a long look at that field, you can almost lose these guys with their white jerseys and white helmets standing out there. Look at that. There was no one close to Ernest Gibbons. Rod Woodson finally makes the catch, but from a long distance away, I think you can lose track of who is where. Now, Gibbons is standing over here to the right, over to Moon's left. Look, there's no one around him.
12-yard pickup, 1st and goal at the 7-yard line. Houston down by 10, trying to get back into it in this big AFC Central Division battle. Again, they're changing the play. Highsmith tells White out of the eye. They didn't get it off, and a timeout called for by Moon.
Very smart by Warren Moon. He did not want to cost his team another 5 yards.
Moon to the sideline. Pittsburgh protecting a 10-0 lead. We'll be right back. Really, but what we have here is the old-fashioned Steeler jersey, right?
And this is a lot heavier than what players wear today. This used to be the sole thing to keep body heat in. Now guys wear Lycra long johns underneath that also cover the top. You used to put all that would keep you warm on the outside, and now you put it on the inside. You can see Houston feeling the effects of the cold. They're all in that heat-em-up pinch. Pittsburgh, everybody standing on the sideline.
1st and goal from the 7. Lorenzo White trying to get in. He scores a touchdown for the Oilers. Lorenzo White, but a flag is down. Hold the phone on this one.
It's against Houston. Illegal procedure against Houston. Last week, 16 penalties.
Houston on the offense. Number 78 was not set. 5 yards, first down.
That's Don Maggs, who started last week. He was playing right tackle, but he wasn't set, they say, and he cost his team a touchdown.
This is the most penalized team in the NFL. They're averaging 9.8 penalties per game. Look at that. They will end up having a very dubious distinction.
A projected 157 for the season. They would shatter the record by the 83 Bills.
Is that amazing?
That is amazing. That's a lot of yardage to give up and overcome. So now, how about this? 1st and goal from the 12. This makes it a different call. Highsmith offset. White deep in the backfield. Moon rolling and running. And look out, he'll get drilled by a couple of Steelers as David Little is there to put the first hit on him. But a pretty wise decision by Moon because that middle was open.
There was great coverage down the field. Of course, when you come back out to the 12-yard line, now your defense can run more than one coverage. This is a half roll by Warren Moon. Fakes to Lorenzo White, but there is no one even close to open down there.
We asked Moon yesterday, how do you like playing in the cold weather? And said the former Edmonton Eskimo.
I don't mind it at all. I've got CFL Grey Cup championships all over my house playing in weather that's inclement.
Second down and goal from the 6. That's Ernest Gibbons in motion. They have 4 wide receivers in. Moon rushed, throws it away. As Greg Lloyd had him, he wants it in the grasp call.
He's not going to get it. It's just going to be an incomplete pass. Greg Lloyd is the man on the pressure. Ben Dreith rules. You can see the entire defense here and the offense. Let's see what they're running. That's a zone, but watch Lloyd. Delay blitz. Well, I'll tell you what. That's pretty close to being a sack. That's throwing the ball away to avoid the sack.
Bob, I believe now they are marking the ball back.
The sack. Hold him back.
Yeah, now they are good. They're going to rule him down. They're going to say that, Jerry Glanville says, can you believe this?
Wait a minute. Now, Ben Dreith is the only guy that can call the sack. And here's Greg Lloyd. And Dreith starts incomplete pass. Hands going back and forth, incomplete pass, but they do count it as a sack.
So they'll mark it back at the 13-yard line.
Wait a minute. Dreith is not ready yet to do whatever he's going to do.
Sending the Oilers back into the huddle.
I don't know that he has the ball marked in the right spot.
Well, he couldn't if it's at the 13 because they are at the 12. Jerry Glanville obviously feels that his team has been a bit picked upon by the officials, especially when they're on the road. He said, you know, we get away with a lot more when we play in Houston.
And, of course, playing last week in Kansas City, there was a lifetime of penalties called on his team away from home, and today it's not. The ball hasn't bounced their way. The calls haven't gone their way. And I think the umpire has asked the guy upstairs, Calafor, where did the sack take place? Now, I have no idea how Calafor is going to figure that out with the snow on the field, but this can't be the right spot.
The frustration of Glanville as Dwayne Woodruff checks out what Ben Dreith is going to call here, or at least where he's going to mark the ball, and Ben is pointing down and it appears that that's where it's going to be. Just to pick up on the Glanville situation and talking about the dreadful 16 penalty game in Kansas City last week, he said, in fact, late in the game, we got called for 12 men on the field. The official came over and said, you can't have 12 men on the field. He said, well, we couldn't defend them with 11.
Let's see if we can pick up where this ball should be. You can barely see any lines there whatsoever. Greg Lloyd with the sack. Actually, that ball should be back about where the huddle is now, because you can see where the third down marker is on the other side of the field.
So as the
They're
Oilers
not even close.
As the Oilers break the huddle now, the officials send them back once again.
Ben Dreith put the officiating crew in this spot by not calling the sack immediately and not marking where the sack takes place. Now he's telling Calafor, find me a spot where the sack took place, and there's no way he's going to find it. We could be here until they take still pictures of it.
Until it thaws here. In the meantime, Warren Moon will come up and look it over. There's Calafor in the replay booth. Suddenly it's becoming a busy day. It didn't start out that way. 2:22 left here in the half. Now the mark back. They are marking the ball back out by the, I would say, the 18-19 yard line.
And that's a guess.
It is the 18.
But if you're going to call the sack, call it and mark it. Why'd you move the ball? Now the line judge is telling him, we're ruling it a sack. That's where replay said the sack took place. So they go from a touchdown to third down and goal at the 19.
And now they've got the 2-minute warning. They're at the 2-minute warning, and that's at least what the clock is showing. They're going to let this play go. And now they're going to slow it down. They've been at 2 minutes for about 4 seconds as Moon gets hit. None of the officials saw that they were at the 2-minute warning, which they were for about 2 or 3 seconds, and the clock stopped. So it's time to tighten it up a little bit down there and find it, because this is a big ball game.
2-minute warning.
2 minutes left to go in the half. 10-0 the score from Pittsburgh, and we'll be back. One heater over there, and their bench is absolutely empty. Nobody sitting on their bench at all. Now, on the other side, if it's all a state of mind, the state of mind there is that the cold weather is affecting them a bit. They're all on the bench, as they have brought one of those warm-up benches that they can all sit in those little cubicles.
Houston has a slight advantage in that the sun can warm them. But here's the big play now. 3rd and 8. 3rd and goal at the 18.
The 11th play of the drive. It's taken 8 minutes and 2 to go here in the half. Moon looking. Duncan open.
Oh.
Touchdown, Houston. Curtis Duncan right across the middle.
Boy, he had 2 choices, because Gibbons was open too, but Duncan runs the slant in front of Woodruff, and that's an easy completion.
What a big play for that man and his offense. Warren Moon, as they have really had a lot of obstacles on this drive, including some moments where the officials couldn't know where the ball was going to be spotted, and they hit.
Duncan just runs the simple slant in, and of course with the lack of footing out there, Woodruff has got to be very, very cautious, lay back, and Moon puts it right on the money on a 3rd and goal at the 18. They score.
Montgomery holds for Zendejas. And it is 10-7. So with 1:54 left to go, here in the first half, Houston scores on an 18-yard touchdown pass from Warren Moon to Curtis Duncan to make it 10-7 on 3rd and goal from the 18-yard line. Let's go around the league right now. Check in just before half. Kansas City by 13 over Miami. New England by 6 over Indianapolis. 17-7 now. The Eagles leading the Giants. Tampa Bay got a field goal. New Orleans and Detroit are tied. And in our other games, Dallas on the board, and Atlanta has taken the lead over San Francisco 10-6. Now, remember this. In the AFC Central Division, Cleveland came into the day with a half-game lead over Houston. Pittsburgh and Cincinnati are both at 6-6, really facing must-wins here today.
Yeah, Houston saying to all the people that want to hear, if we win our last 4 games, we'll win the division, because the final game of the season is against Cleveland down in Houston. So they feel very confident. They felt this was the big game that they had to get by. This is the tough one.
There's the scoring drive, Bob. 8 minutes and 6 seconds. 61 yards, but the big play is the last play, 3rd and goal from the 18.
And they score once. It's brought back. Houston is its own worst enemy in that drive, and then they come up with a big play.
And listen to the crowd right now.
Very
too.
quiet.
They kind of took the crowd right out of it. Zendejas ready to kick it away. And Rod Woodson is deep, standing at his 5-yard line. Woodson has busted one this year, an 84-yarder right here at Three River Stadium against San Diego. Short kick. One of the linebackers is going to come up and get that one. That is Gerald Williams. Gerald Williams carries out over the 25-yard line to the 28. He's brought down by Eric Fairs. He looked pretty good catching that ball. So with 1:48 left to go here in the first half, it is 10-7. Steelers over the Oilers. In the AFC Central Division, the Oilers, after today, have Tampa Bay at Cincinnati, and that's the big one right at the end of the year. They've got Cleveland in the House of Pain.
4 wins, they win the division, because they play Pittsburgh today, Cincinnati in 2 weeks, and Cleveland the last game of the season. And the team with the best opportunity by record of opponents is the Pittsburgh Steelers.
None of those teams remaining after today have a winning record. The ball is at the 26-yard line. Lewis Lips in motion. Worley. Big hits by the Oilers. You can hear them down there really going after it. They're fired up after that touchdown. We also see John Grimsley back in the game, the linebacker. There you see him, 59, as he comes over to help out Richard Byrd, who's also playing with a sore back. And everybody in on the tackle, Al Smith. Now, rounding out the AFC Central Division, Cleveland playing Cincinnati today. 2 tough road games. I think they've got the toughest road home. At Indianapolis, Minnesota at home, and, of course, at Houston. And Cincinnati, Seattle and Houston at home, and then at Minnesota. That's a tough way to end there.
Final game of the season. That's a Monday night game.
Bobby Brister talking with Tom Moore, the offensive coordinator of the Steelers, with that left, 1:28. And a bit of the wind has been taken out of the sails of the Steelers right now. But not too much of the wind has been taken out of Three Rivers Stadium on this very, very cold day. Incidentally, they did a wonderful job having this field ready for today. You see snow out there right now. They covered the field last night and had it ready this morning, but then the snow that fell here in the first half is the only reason we have snow on the field. In fact, when Bob and I were down before the game, the field was beautiful.
They're just taking the tarp off. Everything was fine.
Here's Derek Hill in motion. A flag is flying. Brister throws. And Hill drops it. Patrick Allen was on the coverage, but there's a flag down with 1:24 left in the half.
Well, now Houston is in a good spot here. They have one timeout left. The flag is going to be against Pittsburgh. Reasonable field position here.
83 on the offense, lined up in the neutral zone. They declined the penalty. It's third down.
Lewis Lips. Kind of hard to see where the neutral zone is with that snow out there, but Pittsburgh does not want to turn the ball over here. I'd look for a very conservative call, and Houston with a quick timeout to see if maybe they can block a punt. Somehow come up with a turnover for more points before the half ends.
Those are your scores and highlights coming up at halftime, plus a Mike Shanahan feature coming up as we go back to New York with NFL Live. A minute 24 left in the half on 3rd down and 9. Brister out of the backfield to Hodge, and Steve Brown comes right up to make the tackle, and Houston will use a timeout to force Harry Newsome to punt with 1:14 left in the half.
Nice tackle by Brown. Open field. Hodge just couldn't quite get around him. And now Jerry Glanville, wherever he coaches, he wants to coach the special teams. The Houston Oilers emphasize special teams. Of course, last week their special teams got blown up. 2 punts blocked, 1 for a touchdown. So you got to think that in this situation, they're going to pressure Newsome as much as they possibly can.
Mike Shanahan returns to L.A. as the Broncos and Raiders meet. That all coming up at halftime. Harry Newsome keeping the hands warm right now. You see a lot of the players with that. Kenny Johnson is back deep at the 35-yard line. Houston has 1 timeout left. They got now the flag flies, and delay of game is going to be called against the Steelers. They'll pack them up 5.
Delay the game.
Steelers arguing that one of the clocks might have been off, or that they didn't see it, or that it didn't run out on them. But from the other side, the official made the call looking at the other end of the stadium. Chuck Noll doesn't like this call.
He just said no delay of game.
Okay.
Obviously, you're right. One of the clocks is not working.
All right, the clock had temporarily gone down on that end of the stadium, but now it's running down as they have reset it.
Houston does not appear to be in a punt block situation.
Newsome standing back at his 16-yard line. Low snap, but he picks it off the turf. Hangs a nice punt. Johnson calls for a fair catch. Kenny Johnson makes the fair catch at the Houston 32-yard line with Dwight Stone down there on the coverage. A 38-yard punt. You may say not so great, but remember the snap was a little bit low.
And into the wind.
Right. Now Houston's got to be thinking with 1 timeout, not bad field position at their own 32-yard line, that maybe they can get in and tie this game up, get in field goal range.
Well, in this situation, Jim, the thing that you've got to rely on, I think, as an offense are screens, because the defense is going to be dropping a great deal. Underneath patterns, and then hope that the receiver can break a tackle. Hill and Gibbons are very good at that. The Oilers still have 1 timeout left, so we're going to see the hurry-up offense here for the last minute and 4 seconds of the first half.
4 for 7, but number 4 on that completion chart was the big one. 3rd and goal from the 18, and he hit on a touchdown, Moon did. A wobbling snap and a big rush, and they get it out to Pinkett, and a great block by Munchak gets him down the sideline. He goes over the 40, out to the 44-yard line, and gets out of bounds.
That is the screen to Pinkett. Rod Woodson finally runs him out, and of course the best thing about it is it stops the clock. It's short of the first down, but it stops the clock. So Pinkett goes out, Highsmith goes in. That's a nice play. I'm also very surprised that Pittsburgh came with the blitz on that play. And A.J. Jenkins coming from the backside of Warren Moon. This play takes a while to develop. Gerald Williams, and there's Jenkins. Very, very close to getting a sack.
43-yard line, 1st and 10 with 56 seconds left here in the half. The Oilers have one more timeout. Good protection for Moon, and a man open across the middle, and once again it's Duncan. He's trying to get out of bounds. Look at him fight to get out of bounds. He did not get out of bounds, as he actually gave up about 6 yards trying to get over to that Pittsburgh sideline. They called their last timeout. 42 seconds left here in the half. Look out after falling 10 points down. Here come the Oilers. We'll be right back.
By Warren Moon. Now, it's hard to tell if this is the prevent, because prevent is not necessarily the personnel you put in. It's the mindset that they have. But Delton Hall gets a shot on Duncan, and then Griffin finally drags him down before he's able to get out of bounds, which is a plus for the defense. And you're hoping that clock eats up the offense before they can get in scoring position.
Kind of a mercenary run across the field by Duncan. He took hits all the way across the field.
But his choice is correct. You'll lose a few yards to save that last time out.
42 seconds left, and the crowd trying to get back into it now. 6 for 10 Moon. 4 wide receivers in for the Oilers. A quick step back and throw to Haywood Jeffries, and he gets out of bounds as they continue to get closer to Zendejas range. He's short of a first down.
Wait a minute. Did I see Jeffries and Hall actually tap hands there? I thought these two teams hated each other. Maybe it's just the coaches that don't like each other.
I think it might be that, yeah. So Jeffries makes the catch, and it's at the 35 of Pittsburgh. And it's a pickup of 5 yards, but just a little bit closer.
Good smart play by Houston. Get the easy completion, make sure he's out of bounds, stop the clock.
Moon starts out underneath center, and he'll stay there. Drew Hill starts in motion and heads back. Again now to the near sideline, and Hill makes the catch, spins, stays close to the sideline, buys about 3 or 4 extra yards, and doing a great job of working the clock. Houston has 30 seconds left, and they're even closer now and getting very close to Zendejas range.
Rod Russ defense is generally combinations. They'll zone deep. They'll man-to-man underneath. But in this situation, there's Zendejas warming up on the sideline. Anybody whose name is Zendejas can't be comfortable kicking in the snow. I know that for sure.
Zendejas had hit 8 in a row until last week. He missed his only attempt from 39 yards. We could see him in a few moments. 1st and 10 as Hill got enough yardage for first down on that last play. Ball at the 27. The rush, he bumps into his own man and then throws it down below the ankles of Drew Hill. Incompleted pass, and we have 25 left here in the half.
2nd down, 10.
It will be 2nd and 10. Highsmith is checking in, and Tracy Johnson is coming out. 21 out of 30 on the season for Zendejas. So he was on a good run. He was 0 for 1 last week. But he has the wind at his back here at the end of this first half.
But he's been standing that entire first half, too, and that doesn't help either. Just standing over there on the sideline, and it's very difficult to get warm, and obviously in a game like this.
It was 10-0 Pittsburgh. It's now 10-7, and Houston is driving for the tie as Drew Hill goes in motion. Again, a lot of time for Moon.
Jeffries.
Out of the back end of the end zone. Jeffries was there for a moment, and then Moon just threw it right over his head and out of bounds, out of harm's way, with 17 seconds left in the half.
Jeffries seemed to stop his pattern there. He couldn't make up his mind what he was going to do, and Moon does not want to take the sack.
Now they're at the 27, which would make it a 44-yard field goal if they were to kick it right now. Remember, they're out of timeouts.
Jeffries again, it looks like he's running about 4 different patterns. They're in, up, out, maybe the corner. I'm not sure. Wait, Moon just throws it where it can't be intercepted.
On 3rd down conversions, Houston's 4 for 6. On 3rd and 10 from the Steeler 27.
Blitz. Picked up.
He's
Hill.
going for Hill.
Oh!
What a catch if he hung on. Touchdown, Houston.
Put that one in the highlight reel.
And all of that with a bad back. Drew Hill, a 27-yard touchdown catch. And the Oilers have answered back with 2 big jabs right here at the end of the half.
Pittsburgh goes with a blitz. You see the linebackers, and it's Carnell Lake, the strong safety on Hill. Hill, I believe, has the foot speed. That ball is by him, through his hands. He catches the back end of it for a touchdown. Unbelievable throw and an indescribable catch.
Boy, did you see him in midair tuck it right into his belly, though?
Boy, you don't coach that. You either do that or you don't.
Play stands.
You bet it stands.
You can't take a catch like that away from anybody.
Drew Hill barely practiced this week. They said, Jerry Glanville said to us yesterday, he's been having a tough time getting in and out of his car. His back has been hurting so much.
Obviously, it doesn't affect his hands.
Zendejas with the extra point. And here is Houston, who looked like they were very, very disorganized, who looked like they were turning in a typical Houston performance on the road, wobbly. Now with 10 seconds to go in the half, from 10-0 down, Moon has fired 2 touchdown passes, and they lead.
Well, a minute, 4 seconds, they do a great job of getting the ball down the field. And then when you've got great athletes like Ernest Gibbons, Drew Hill, Haywood Jeffries, you got to give them the opportunity. And then the other half of this is Pittsburgh's choice. They go with the blitz. That means man-to-man coverage. And look at this. That ball he catches the back end of that football, Jim.
Oh, what a great catch.
That is unbelievable. That's one of the finest catches I think I've ever seen. Straight away from the quarterback, lays out, catches the back end of the football, and hangs on.
You'll be staying tuned for halftime because we've got all the scores and highlights on this Sunday, number 13, with big games all the way around and playoff spots hanging in the balance. And Mike Shanahan returns to L.A., this time as the quarterback coach with the Broncos. He started.
Well, last 2 times they've had the ball now, put 14 points up. So the attitude has changed.
Kind of a pooch kick. And once again, we're going to watch the linebacker make the play. Is coming down with Stowe. Or Gerald Williams, rather, the linebacker. He makes the catch out to the 24-yard line with 6 seconds to go in the half. As Zendejas tried to kind of layer it in there.
Paying a lot of respect to Rod Woodson. They do not want him to run a kickoff back with 6 seconds left in the first half.
Now the ball is out over the 20-yard line on this snow-covered field, out at about the 23, 24-yard line. 6 seconds remaining. Derek Hill, Lips, Stock are all in there. 3 wide receivers. Let's see if Brister airs it out here. He's against the wind, remember. And with 6 seconds, he'll throw a screen to Rodney Carter. And Bubba McDowell trips him up. Good play by the rookie out of Miami, and that will run out the first half. And Houston runs into the locker room with a big head of steam.
Houston's overcome a lot. Bad field position in the first quarter. The turnover. Wait a minute. We got one more play left.
We have a flag.
Must be a flag on the defense. The half can't end with a flag on the defense. See what happens here.
It's offensive holding.
Yeah, so the half will end. Oh, it's against both of them. One more untimed play.
Very good, Bob. Good lip syncing there.
Yeah, but I don't know if either or both team has enough players to get the play off.
If you could check down the far side of the stadium, the Oilers are yelling into their tunnel, hey, come on back out of the locker room. One untimed play. Now, the offensive people and those that are not playing are going to go into the locker room. They're going to get the hot chocolate on warm it up for the rest of the guys.
Brister's gone, Jim. He went into the tunnel. He is gone. They may run a play, but there's no quarterback to do anything with it.
Oh, boy, we've seen it all so far in the first half.
Watch the entrance behind just to the right of the 30-second sign, because Brister's in the locker room.
So they're going to send out the quarterback, Rick Strawn, out of Georgia Tech.
This is amazing. This is amazing. Bubby's in there. He's getting some, well, I mean, this is one way for the young man to get a snap.
Yeah, there he is, number 11, Rick Strom out of Georgia Tech. I bet he didn't think he'd get into the game at this point. But Bubby Brister.
1st and 10, Pittsburgh ball.
Well, he's just going to kneel down here.
Put a 0 on the clock.
We got one play. Just put 0-0 on the clock. One play.
Okay, Ben, give us the business here. Here comes Bubby back. Bubby's back, turns around, goes back the other way. Wow.
What a finish, huh? There go the Steelers, and there is the great receiver Drew Hill. He made the catch right here, right at the end of the first half for the touchdown that has given the Houston Oilers a 14-10 lead. Warren Moon has thrown 2 touchdown passes. And there you have it. The Oilers were down 10, but now in this big AFC Central Division game at halftime, they lead by 4 in Pittsburgh. The second one, 5 of 7 with 2 touchdowns that Bob spoke of on the 3rd and goal. Remember that. That was 3rd and goal after a very, very long delay. Remember on the sack of Moon when they called him in the grass? And good news for the Steelers, we've located Bubby Brister, and he's back on the sidelines. And they'll need a good second half. Now, Pittsburgh had some creativity, didn't they, on offense? They had that touchdown drive that was a beauty with 2 Lewis Lips reverses and some great play calling.
They start the 3rd quarter, they're going against the wind. So, again, they're going to have to be creative. You can't just heave the ball up into the wind. They got to think about the reverses.
It looked as though at the end of the half we were setting up for a Zendejas field goal, but instead Warren Moon did them one better as he ended up with the touchdown pass. Second half underway, it's Woodson. Gets away from Eugene Seal. 40. And out over the 40 to the 43-yard line. 53 Eugene Seal tried to get him, but couldn't way back. And once he got to the sideline, Tracy Eaton chases him out. They've been trying all day to kick the ball away from Woodson.
Did you see what Pittsburgh did? They had Woodson at about the 25-yard line, so they couldn't sky the kick and avoid kicking it to Woodson. So Pittsburgh starts with excellent field position.
Indefinitely their most important half of football now this season, as they have gotten back into the AFC Central Division race, but they need a win today. And here comes the rookie Worley, and he's got a lot of room. All the way down to the Houston 20-yard line. .37-yard run by Tim Worley.
Jim, this is a simple power sweep executed perfectly by the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's a split back. You see both guards pull. Rienstra 79 pulls up into the hole. Long gets the kick out. Rienstra still blocking. 37-yard pickup. But they got Houston before they got used to the cold out here.
Longest run of Worley's young NFL career. Lips in motion, but it's Hodge who has their touchdown, and he gets inside the 20 down to the 17-yard line.
Now you have the Pittsburgh offense where the field is cleared, and the Steeler defense where there's still snow on the turf.
So the guy was fast, as we showed you, but he couldn't get it all done. Steelers, they started at the 32-yard line after the Rozier fumble. They ended with a field goal. Punt, touchdown, punt, end of the half. So early they did it in the first quarter. Oilers fumble, 2 punts, 2 touchdowns, both third down touchdown passes by Moon. It is 2nd down and 8. Steelers send Worley out in motion. Flag goes down now before the play can run off.
You had 2 men move. Worley and the guard moved at the same time.
Good call. Oh boy, when the mic went on, Bubby Brister was talking. Actually not talking, yelling.
79, false start.
Rienstra is nailed for it.
Yeah, but you know, I think if you look back at that offense, it appeared to me that the offensive line was up in a preset. Their hand was not on the ground. If that's the case, then the offensive, yeah, see, his hand is up. He can do that. He can do that. Oh, he does move. He does move. Ben Dreith was absolutely correct. His hand was down, and once you put that hand down, you can't pick it up.
2nd down and 13 now at the 22-yard line.
This is a pass.
Worley comes out of the backfield in motion. Look out for Johnny Meads, and he gets in for the 2nd time today. He gets Brister way back at the 30-yard line. He was like a train on the loose there.
He beat John Jackson, the young offensive lineman playing left tackle. See the left-hand side? Watch Meads will jump inside the block. And he just grabs the leg of Bubby Brister and drags him down, and Pittsburgh's going the wrong direction here. Watch Meads again. Right side. Comes right at his leg.
So, Bob, it was 2nd down and 8, then the penalty, then the sack. It's now 3rd and 21. Johnny Meads, 2nd sack of the day. Out of the lineup right now as they're into their dime situation, and Bubby Brister must call a timeout.
Timeout.
He landed on his elbow. You see him rubbing his elbow. He hit rather hard, too.
12:30 to go here in the 3rd quarter. We'll be right back to Pittsburgh. Houston 14-10 over the Steelers. 12.5 left to go, 3rd quarter. Chuck Noll's team came out moving, and we'll be back to see if they can continue the move right after this timeout. Out of it in Bob Trumpy after the Pittsburgh timeout. 3rd down and 21 is what Bubby Brister is looking at, and he wanted to go to the sideline.
Yeah, well, when you're 3rd and 21, you want your coach to call the play. There's not a lot to choose from here. Now, Houston has 7 defensive backs, 3 defensive linemen, and 1 linebacker. Bears there, 51 in the middle.
Brister has 4 wide receivers and 1 back, and right now they're having trouble lining up. Merrill Hodge is getting set up. There's only 2 on the play clock. They get it off. The pitch shovel goes to Hodge, and he's down to the 20-yard line. Well shy of the 1st down, but we'll call on Gary Anderson right now for the Steelers to report out there and try and get them to within 1 point. With 12:15 left to go, the snow again flying here at Three Rivers Stadium. It's been on and off all day.
The most important part of a field goal attempt in this weather is the snap. It's by Brian Blankenship. He's lined up at the 27. It'll be about a 44-yard field goal.
38, they're going to say. 38-yard field goal. Up and good. Gary Anderson, they're going to officially mark it a 37-yard field goal. There is a flag down on the play. Offside, Houston. Now, do you take the points off the board or leave them up there?
Knowing the conservative nature of Chuck Noll, they'll keep the points.
And be within 1. It's 14-13 right now.
And line up in the neutral zone. They decline the penalty. 3 points.
The field goal is good by Anderson. Chuck Noll Steelers cash in on their first possession of the 2nd half. 11:50 to go in the 3rd quarter, and the Oilers lead by 1.
Winning. It's something you can see.
In that outfit, they said you're taking a fashion risk, but you're well dressed for the weather today.
I don't know. That may be Elvis Presley underneath all of that stuff. One of Jerry Glanville's favorite people. Look at the yards rushing.
They kick it on the ground. Running up is Bob Morosco, the tight end, the rookie out of Penn State. And Morosco carries out to the 40-yard line, and we have a scuffle going right now. Down at the 40-yard line, but they break clean and walk away from it. Now that yards rushing statistic, there you see it.
Big factor. Worley got 37 on that last carry. We got a penalty here against Houston.
3 on Houston. 10 yards, 1st down.
It's on Eugene Seal. You heard the 3. He said 53. Eugene Seal. Now the Steeler defense is, and again, the special teams coach, Richard Smith, barking at Seal. Remember earlier he went after Tracy Johnson when he fumbled that ball. The Houston offense comes out to a roaring crowd against them in a 1-point game. Lorenzo White carries out over the 35 to maybe the 36-yard line. David Little is in on the tackle along with the free safety Thomas Everett.
Now, Houston can afford to be very patient here. Most important thing is protect that football. They did a good job at the end of the 1st half of converting the 3rd downs, going for the short stuff underneath. And I think White, we haven't seen Rozier since the 1st series, and he's not hurt. He just fumbled. So it looks like the responsibility is going to be Lorenzo White for the rest of the day.
He'll get it again, and a 1st down, and a lot more. Out to the midfield stripe. 1st down, Oilers. Great block up front, and he gets through.
David Little makes the tackle, a 15-yard pickup. You very seldom see Houston run traps or anything. This is just a straight ahead blocking. Munchak on Gerald Williams. The center Pennison gets David Little. And then Little comes back to assist on the tackle with Greg Lloyd, but 15 yards down the field.
And the snow picks up, and White's rushing numbers do too. 56 yards now. 1st and 10, the ball right at the midfield stripe. Gibbons in motion. 2 wide receivers in the game. Jeffers is the other. Steelers jump. This time it's Gerald Williams. As the Oilers carry the ball, David Little wraps up Lorenzo White along with Willis, but I think you're going to get 98. Gerald Williams across the line.
And well, obviously it worked so good for Kansas City against Houston last week. They decided to put it in their game plan. You can't trust centers.
Line up in the neutral zone. 5 yards. 1st down.
You can't trust centers. They'll twitch over the ball. They'll flex their forearm, and nose tackles just dive across that line of scrimmage.
Gee, on that graphic right there that you saw, that number 2 penalties on Houston. Remember, that's a big improvement over last week when they had the 16.
There were 20 called, and 16 were accepted by Kansas City.
The ball is now marked at the 45-yard line. They take the penalty. 10 minutes to go now. 3rd quarter, 14-13 Oilers. 1st and 5. Back to Lorenzo White. Tries to take it outside, and a bad decision. Willis and Williams are there, along with Brian Hinkle.
Running backs run with their eyes, and especially on bad footing, you really don't want a running back to bounce outside. You prefer he bounce inside, because that's where most of the protection is. Here's Pennison, the center, almost the same blocking scheme. This time 98 Gerald Williams goes down the line. He's there to assist with Willis and Hinkle for the tackle. 2nd down now and 8.
So they lose 3 on that play. 4 wide receivers in the game. 1 back. That's Highsmith. As Bruce Matthews checks back with Moon to check on the count. Quick delivery. Defender Woodruff slipped and had bad footing as the catch is made by Curtis Duncan, and he goes into the Oiler bench.
Now here's where the offense has a tremendous advantage. You can see where the spot is. It doesn't look like it's enough for the 1st down, but the defense is going to be very gingerly when they try to stop. Duncan just runs the hitch pattern. Woodruff way off. Looks like the proper spot, and it brings up 3rd down and very short for Houston.
Just a couple of inches now. 9:11 left to go in the quarter. Highsmith will be the lone back, and they have 4 wide receivers on 3rd down and less than 1.
Quarterback sneak.
That's a safe call.
Fumble.
But that's not safe, because I don't know if he had control of it the 2nd time. He lost it. The Steelers say they have it. No call from the official yet. Let's wait.
It looked like when Warren Moon set his feet back, Pittsburgh's got it. At least they're motioning that way.
Greg Lloyd is out of the pack with the ball. But is Ben Bryce saying that Moon was down and had possession? Let's check and see. Yes,
Pittsburgh ball.
Pittsburgh ball.
It looked like, Jim, it looked like when Warren Moon set his feet back, the ball forward, he just did not have a hold of the football.
And there I go and say quarterback sneak, safe call. Nothing safe on this kind of field.
Watch when he sets his feet back. I think he just pulls his hands out, and the ball is loose. Going through the Steelers' legs. Looks like Greg Lloyd is in there diving.
I'll tell you what it looks like. It looks like rugby right there.
Yes, it does. A scrum. Pittsburgh recovers it. Watch when he puts his feet back. Yeah, see, he never gets the football. And it is loose.
Brister gives to Worley. Worley cuts and just gets a couple of yards out over the 40 to the 41-yard line. Thayers trips him down and makes the tackle on the play. Bubba McDowell helps out. Remember, Pittsburgh recovered all those fumbles in the game that you covered last week down in Miami, and they do it again today.
Houston has only allowed 1 running back this season over 100 yards rushing. That was James Brooks of Cincinnati. Tim Worley coming awfully close. Last week, 22 carries, 95 yards. Oh, look at that. They're doing a great job of running the football, Pittsburgh.
2nd down and 7. 8:25 to go, 3rd quarter. Steelers are down by 1 with Lips in motion. It's a rollout fake. Brister. And Malarkey's got it. The tight end down to the Houston 40. There's a loose ball on the ground, and the official says no.
No catch.
Fumble or no catch.
Oh, no, wait a minute. The field judge is saying no catch. But this is reviewable once again. He's going to roll left. Now, Mularkey, you see Mularkey sneaking down there. Second foot has to be down. 1, 2. That's a catch. Boy, I'll tell you what. That from that angle, it certainly looks like a catch. Again, 1, second foot down. No, he never caught it. He never had hold of it. Good call by the official. Field judge was right there to see the whole thing.
Pittsburgh.
Timeout Steelers. That's their second one that they have used, and we have 8:14 left here in the third quarter. So they only have one left. Brister to the
second foot. There's the first one, the left foot. Second foot down. Does he have control? It certainly appears so. And then the swipe by the defensive back seems to knock it loose.
Steve Brown knocks it loose.
But the play is going to stand. Apparently it was not reviewable. You see Chuck Noll and Tom Moore really giving the business to Ben Drake.
That was during the timeout. Right now, Brister's looking at 3rd down and 7 from his own 42-yard line. The snow has let up again. Rodney Carter in motion. Bubby's in trouble, gets away from Fuller, but can he get away again? He loops that ball up for grabs and out of bounds. Lewis Lips was the intended receiver, although he was really throwing it away. And it will be 4th down now, and Pittsburgh will have to punt it away with 8:07 to go here in the third.
Well, Houston survives the turnover. Their second of the day. The first one cost them 3 points. This one cost them no points. So Houston's luck seems to have turned a little bit here.
Harry Newsom is back to punt. Kenny Johnson will take it back for Houston, standing back at his 20-yard line. It is 14-13. The Oilers lead by 1. They trail 10-0. Moon threw a touchdown pass to Duncan on 3rd and goal from the 18. Just before halftime, he threw a 27-yard touchdown pass to Drew Hill on a fabulous catch. 14-10 lead. Pittsburgh took the opening kickoff of the second half and settled for an Anderson field goal. Low snap. Newsom rides it out. And that's where we are, a 1-point game. Johnson fumbles and has to scramble to get it back at the 15-yard line with Carnell Lake right on him. 39-yard punt and almost a nightmare on the fumble, but Houston has the ball, and that's important. At Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh in the AFC Central Division, that's how we started the day. Cleveland with a half-game lead over Houston, Pittsburgh, and Cincinnati at 6-6. Now, in Cleveland right now, Cincinnati has gone ahead of the Browns, playing in the same kind of weather as we are here. 14-0 Bengals in Cleveland. Remember, Kosar, the quarterback for the Browns, went into that game with an aching elbow and a real dormant offense. Here, Houston leads 14-13 by 1, but they have bad field position now at their own 15-yard line with Gibbons in motion. Back they go to Lorenzo White, and White carries out near the 19-yard line into the arms of Greg Lloyd, who recovered the fumble on the last Houston possession. Lorenzo White, the Michigan State Spartan, who they've been trying to get the ball to more and more for the Oilers, has done the bulk of the ball carrying today.
We saw Rozier in the first series. He fumbles, and they let it go as we look at the scoreboard. Boy, is Kansas City for real? What's going on here?
Houston would say yes, they are, after the performance they had against them last week. And the rest of our scores, the Giants back within 7. Detroit ahead of New Orleans. 2nd down and 6. Moon can get up near a first down. He's very close as Everett drives him out of bounds. He had Highsmith as a potential receiver and then as a blocker.
Actually, Pittsburgh has done an excellent job, Jim, of cutting that play to shreds. Moon has no place to throw the ball, so he has to end up running, and that's about the 3rd time today he's done that.
Steve Young has thrown a touchdown pass in that San Francisco game of 38 yards to John Taylor to put the 49ers back on top 13-10. Rod Russ, the defensive coordinator with Kansas City last year, so he helped build that great Chiefs defense. Now here in Pittsburgh, 3rd down conversions. The Oilers are 5 for 8 on 3rd and 1 from the 25, their own. Leading by a point, looks like Warren Moon got himself a cadence first down because he draws the Steelers off. Keith Willis on that left side, number 93, appears to get into the neutral zone. We'll find out the bad news right now. I'm sure he already knew.
It is offsides defense.
Encroachment defense. Made contact. 5-yard penalty.
This has happened several times today to the Pittsburgh defense. Both Gerald Williams, the nose tackle, and Keith Willis do come across and make contact, which is encroachment in the NFL. So it's a first down for the Houston Oilers.
And they're out of field position trouble anyway right now. They're out at the 30-yard line, close to the 31. The Oilers with 2 penalties. Normally, they're well above that. Pittsburgh now with 4, and that one gives the Oilers the ball and a first down and more clock time here in the third quarter, leading by 1 point. Gibbons in motion. With Bruce Matthews in front of him, Moon is rolling out. Rolling and rolling and getting nailed. Loose ball. It's picked up by Greg Lloyd.
No signal from Ben Dreit.
No signal yet. Warren Moon went down. It looked like he left the ball there. 95, Lloyd picked it up.
Look, they're talking. There's been no signal from any official in either direction.
Houston ball. He's ruling that Moon is down. No fumble, he said.
What takes you so long to make the decision?
Chuck Noll facing on the sideline. That's Tom Moore without the hat. He was thinking that he's going to get his offense on the field on a fumble recovery. Moon rolled out, had nobody to throw to, got hit, went down. Here it is.
Turf can't cause the fumble. Again, Pittsburgh does a great job. There's nobody to throw it to. The hit is by Lloyd. Yeah, he's down. There's no question about that. You just wish that the referee would make the call earlier. Make a decision. Whatever the decision is, it's reviewable. Make the decision.
The play stands. No fumble.
Again, this is a heck of a hit. Moves the ball to his left hand, and now watch Ben Dreit coming right in the picture. He makes no signal.
Now right
None
there,
whatsoever.
it looks like right there he's looking like the play is still going.
Absolutely. Fumble, Pittsburgh ball.
So instead of losing the ball, they lose 6 yards, and it's second down at 16. Moon back to pass, looking for Jeffries.
Oh!
Threw his arms at the 35-yard line, threw a lot of arms. Everett and Woodson were on the coverage. So it will be 3rd and 16.
Boy, Jim, I called Duncan's name. He's at the far side of the field, and he had Dwayne Woodruff beat like a drum. And here is Jeffries, who goes by Rod Woodson. This ball is thrown with the wind. Everett comes over to help. Woodson doesn't touch it. Jeffries should make that catch.
Right through 4 arms right there, Haywood Jeffries. Cannot come up with the ball. That would have been a huge play for the Oilers, but instead now it's 3rd and 16, and this crowd will get right into the face of Warren Moon. And he'll have 4 wide receivers to choose from. Out of the red gun. Fires across the middle for Gibbons, and boy, did he see shadows of Thomas Everett coming right up in his face, or what?
Didn't even raise his hands.
It's 4th down. And it's time for Montgomery to come up with a very important punt on a snow-covered field here at Three Rivers Stadium. There he is. 2 punts on the day. He's making sure of his footing right now. Snapping will be Bruce Matthews, who was pressed into playing center full-time last week when they had the injury to Jay Pennison. Pennison has played today. Let's see if the Steelers come after Montgomery.
As they go for the block here, certainly looks like Steelers are trying.
He gets it away with a thud. Woodson tried to stay in bounds now, and he did. But Chris Dishman is right down there on the coverage for the Oilers, and Woodson can go nowhere. A 40-yard punt that looked better than it sounded, didn't it, Bob? There's a flag down on the play, too.
Delay of game against Pittsburgh. That's too many men on the field.
12 men on the receiving team. 12 men on the field on a receiving team.
You can only play this game with 11 unless you're north of the Canadian border. I think, if I'm Houston, I give them the ball there. Decline the penalty.
Absolutely, because it was a good punt and excellent coverage. And the more you put the ball in the hands of Woodson, who knows what could happen. Jerry Glanville and his players out there talking with Ben Dreit.
They declined the penalty.
So it will be first down, Steelers at their own 35-yard line. Chuck Noll's team down by 1. They're 6-6. And Pittsburgh is trying to come up with the victory today. And then, as we showed you earlier, they have 3 games remaining against teams which all have losing records. 6:15 left. They trail by 1, but they have the ball. Here's Brister setting his team down. Lipswich in motion. He's back to pass. They've got a screen set up, and Richard Berg gets away. Firing. Complete to Merrill Hodge. And Bubba McDowell takes him and tosses him out. There's a lot of extra hitting
Wait a minute. I don't think they can throw the flag there because it's so hard to see where the sideline is.
You know what, Bob? I saw the official reaching in back for the flag, and then
he did not.
Obviously listening to you, and then not.
Bad idea. But I have a feeling that's why. Timeout again. Now, this is a screen set up all the way. You read it well, Jim. But it's covered. Hodge makes a great catch. Now the problem is, I'm not sure you can tell exactly where the sideline is. That's tough. That's very tough. But there's a flag down.
Number 74 of the offense was down the field.
Terry Long.
Number 74 was down the field. Illegal man downfield.
That's also a loss of down, I believe.
Terry Long, there he is, 74, the shortest offensive lineman in the NFL at 5'11". And on a call like that, you feel even shorter, wish you were so short that nobody could see you.
No, it's not a loss of down, but it's a 10-yard penalty. So it comes up 1st and 20, and the fans are booing because they thought Merrill Hodge was abused out of bounds over here.
And the spot comes back at the 25-yard line of Pittsburgh. We have 6:05 left here in the third quarter. The AFC Central Division, we told you right at the top of this game, red hot. And in playing in 2 ice-cold cities today, we're watching what's going on in Cleveland. Cincinnati leading that game 14-0. And watching right here what's going on in Pittsburgh, and the Oilers leading by 1 with a lot of football left. Brister. Boy, look at a lot of time. And that's going to be picked off by Bubba McDowell. Then he dropped the ball, and it was picked up by Al Smith.
Now, one official is saying no catch. The umpire is saying no catch. Number 88 signaled no catch, but again reviewable. Ben Dreith has shooed away a lot of players today, hasn't he?
Yes, he has.
Now, when an interception takes place, you apply the same rules to the interceptor that you do the receiver. Brister on the scramble, throws back against the defense. 1, 2. That's an interception.
And then Al Smith
on the field, incomplete pass.
Wow, that's fine. He can make a decision now. Calipor, the review official, can look at it. 1 second foot down.
But it was coming out right there.
Again, back a little bit. Did he have it, or was it coming out when that second foot comes down? Because the same rules apply to the interceptor. First foot down.
After review, it's an incomplete pass.
Incomplete pass, I believe, is correct.
And again, ladies and gentlemen, your key phrase today is after review.
What would we do without slow motion? Just answer me that.
And thanks for everybody on the camera and down in videotape for watching that play and dissecting for us on 2nd down and 20, the ball at the 25-yard line. Look out from behind. It's Johnny Meads for the 3rd time today. He's got Brister.
Bubby's not getting up either. That was Meads' 2nd sack again on John Jackson, the left tackle. Meads' 2nd sack, Houston's 3rd of the day.
No, he's got all of them.
He's got all 3?
He's got all
Excuse
of them.
me.
Yeah, he's got all of them.
Top of the screen. He comes. He's untouched. Nobody lays a hand on him.
You know, Bob, if we go back there maybe, watch Childress, and it appears as though someone came over to help out there. And I don't know if that left nobody then to block Meads.
Well, you can see Worley is setting up for the screen, 38.
All right.
And he does not pick up the blitz. and Needs gets his third sack of the day.
It's 3rd and 30 back at the 15-yard line. Brister throws one, and it's almost intercepted by Steve Brown. In fact, Brown was the only player that could have caught that one, and now there's another late flag go down as Brister is watching from down on the turf and holding his right elbow.
Incomplete, broken up by Brown.
And limping on his left leg.
He's got hammered a couple of straight times here. We'll watch again. Hodge slips out in the flat. And the ball is thrown. Childress is the guy who gets there to Bubby Brister.
Number 33 on the offense, personal foul.
Merrill Hodge.
Whoa. He was trying to get the ball to Lips. They flag Hodge for going at Brown. And suddenly the penalties have turned against Pittsburgh and in Houston's favor. So Harry Newsom's going to be punting from his own end zone.
Now he's stepping back into even more snow right there. That's where they didn't clear off during halftime. They try to get the whole field done. As it has gotten darker again here at Three River Stadium, both weather-wise and situation-wise for the hometown Steelers, as Newsom is punting deep in his own end zone now. And Houston should get great field position.
That's the point. Now with about 5 minutes and 20 seconds to go, they'll have the wind at their back. And field position for the remainder of this game, probably the most important key.
So he's got his hands warm, as you see, flips the pouch on the back, and he'll get ready to go to work. Let's see if the Oilers come after him now as he punts out of the end zone.
Uh-oh.
Well, they are, and he handles a low snap, and he'll go down for a safety. Dishman touches him down along with Bubba McDowell and put 2 points up on the board for the Oilers and make it a 16-13 ball game.
Actually, not a bad play by Harry Newsom. Taking the 2 points when the snap is offline and low by Dermontti Dawson. He just takes the 2 points. Now, obviously, they're going to have to give the ball up to Houston. See how far to the left he has to move. Slips out of his hands.
What a great shot.
It'll be a free kick from the 20. But you're giving up 2 points, and that's better than 7. Well, field position, weather conditions like this, 98% of the time determine the outcome of the game. And with these penalties against Pittsburgh, put themselves in that spot.
Check the weather right now as another squall has blown right inside Three River Stadium. This is the type of the weather that you always waited to hear the no school announcements, right?
Yeah. Pittsburgh saw this last week in Miami with rain, and now they got the snow squalls here.
That's the first safety given up by the Steelers since last year, and it came against the Oilers. All right, the Houston sideline and the 40,000 brave souls who are still inside Three River Stadium with 5:15 left to go in the third quarter.
This is really tough because Newsom has to punt against the wind here. And, of course, on a free kick, you can't use a tee. And that's why all teams punt the ball.
He gets the whistle and moves in. Good punt, too. Kenny Johnson has to backtrack to his own 30, and he's on his way upfield. And he's up to the 50-yard line. Midfield stripe. We've got a fight off to our left of our shot right there as they are all wrapped up there. That was Larry Griffin in there for the Steelers along with Tyrone Stowe. And I believe Tracy Eaton is the Oiler that they're trying to pull out of the pack. And again, Griffin and Eaton get close to each other, and then Kenny Jackson, 86, walks Eaton away. Let's go around the league right now. 14-0 Cincinnati over at Cleveland. They're in the third quarter up in Cleveland. Kansas City leads Miami.
Offense, a personal foul on the defense. Offset.
10-9 Colts over the Patriots in the fourth quarter. The Giants close to within 7 in the third. Green Bay by 1 over Tampa Bay. And the Lions, after that big Thanksgiving Day upset at Cleveland, now lead again over the Saints. So they're giant killing around the league. Dallas has gone ahead of the Rams 24-21, looking for their second win of the year. And the 49ers now lead by 10 after they had fallen behind against Atlanta. And here in Pittsburgh, it's 16-13. Houston leading over the Steelers with 5:04 left to go in the third quarter, and the ball out by midfield. Houston has it. And Lorenzo White will carry it. Loose football. And the Steelers have it. It's Dwayne Woodruff. Three turnovers now, all fumbles. One by Rozier, one by Moon, and now by Lorenzo White, who's been the most sure-handed of the group today. But he coughs it up, and the Steelers get it back.
He's got a nice gain here, Jim. Kind of jumps over the pile, and then the ball just seems to slip right out of his arms. No one hit him. The ball just gets away. Dwayne Woodruff with the recovery.
Haywood Jeffries. That's Lorenzo White. Haywood Jeffries is down on the field right now. He was the guy who was trying to battle Woodruff for the football. There he is. And they attend to him.
He'll run to the left. He's got a nice pickup here. Does anybody hit him? If anybody hits him, it's his own man.
That's right.
It's like Bruce Matthews may have hit him. Certainly not enough to cough the ball up, but man, that rock is hard today.
Now go back to the safety given up by Newsome. It's a three-point ball game. They had to punt the ball away, but they get the ball back. They get it in better field position, and they're still only a field goal down. So your point about Newsome being really smart about just taking the safety and not trying to punt that out of there is a good point now.
Sure, he could have tried to run the thing out of the end zone, and Houston gets the ball at the 1.
The Bengals now lead over the Browns 21-0, becoming a bit of a blowout up there in Cleveland. Cincinnati, off the disappointing performance last week in Buffalo, knew that they had to win today. And we translate it, that's what it was at the start of the day. Lewis slips in motion, actually slipped and had to come back. Here's Worley with Terry Long out in front, but Long did not get the block on Bubba McDowell, and he puts him down.
Great play by McDowell. Safety out of the University of Miami. I think one of the true candidates for Defensive Rookie of the Year. They played a lot of zone at Miami. He's a great open field tackler. Now watch the way he fights through the protection here. You see Long 74 pull. Rienstra. Watch McDowell. Dives right underneath Long. Well, that is a picture-perfect tackle for a gain of about a yard. You can't do it any better than that.
Second down and 9. They actually give him a yard on that play. Ball is at their own 34-yard line. The Steelers are down 3. And Brister to Worley. And he is immediately hit by Al Smith and brought down. Smith got him low, and then Steve Brown came in high, and Tunch Ilkin is going after Al Smith now.
It looked like Tim Worley, when Al Smith hit him, tried to retaliate a little bit, and Al Smith took exception to it. The little pass out in the flat. Smith's got him dead to rights.
Third down.
Whoa, look, he's trying to kick there. He's trying to kick Steve Brown.
Yeah, he was trying to kick Brown, and Smith actually was the guy that ended up with the foot. And then Ilkin comes in, and Smith goes after Ilkin.
This is a bad time for either team to turn dumb here.
Third down conversions. Pittsburgh's only 3 for 9 on the day. They're looking at 3rd and 4. Rodney Carter checks in. Brister throws it away. As Johnny Meads was right on top of him again in the backfield, and that's why he had to unload. Down the field, Derek Hill had been knocked off the play, and the crowd wanted a flag on them.
Yeah, but that ball is not catchable by Derek Hill. Allen has the coverage. It's man-to-man on that side. Now watch how short this ball is thrown. That's what the fans are complaining about. But that ball was 15 yards short of the receiver.
So Harry Newsome, who got trapped in his own end zone the last time and took a safety, will punt it away to that man, Kenny Johnson. Newsome stands back at his 25-yard line. Dermontti Dawson again, snaps it low. Newsome has the good hands, though. Hunts it away. Fair catch called for it. Kenny Johnson makes it at the 28-yard line.
We got a flag down.
And there's a flag down on the play. 33-yard punt. And the second low snap in a row now by Dermontti Dawson.
Legal man downfield by Pittsburgh.
Do you make him punt it again?
No, I don't think so. I think it's anytime you can make the catch. It's what they've done all day. Oh, he's gonna have him go back. Now they're kicking against the wind.
You know what? I'm not so sure that his special teams coach, who he was just talking to there, wants them to force the re-kick
Number
again.
91 on the kicking team was downfield. 5-yard penalty.
Gerald Williams gets nailed for the penalty. But they are going to force Newsome to punt it again.
Well, now, if you're going to bring him back, Jim, my suggestion is then go after it.
There's Dawson, who's had 2 tough snaps in a row to Newsome. And now he'll get a chance to do it all over again. This one's right on the money. Fair catch called for again. And you know what? The Oilers actually lose 2 yards on that whole exchange. So Dawson corrects the snapping problem on a 39-yard punt by Harry Newsome. Jerry Glanville rolled the dice, hoping that maybe there would be another low snap. Per usual after kicks. We have a mild altercation. A reminder to our viewers now, stay tuned for the second half of today's football doubleheader. And stay warm, won't you? On most of these NBC stations. From their own 28-yard line, Warren Moon's going to put it up. Or is he? That's a loose football. And it looks like the Oilers have recovered the ball. They were 2 Steelers right on top, but a very on-the-spot Don Maggs is in there to recover it for the Oilers.
Warren Moon does not do a very good job of protecting this football. This is a half roll. Now watch the way he's got this ball out. One guy goes by him. And the second one just grabs a hold of his arm. Jerry Olsavsky. And Houston is very, very lucky to retain possession.
Boy, you saw the arms of Olsavsky after he made the hit. He was trying to grab that ball in, but he was inches away. Second down, 19. Houston's just lucky to get the ball back. Red gun, 4 wide receivers, and Moon right back again. In trouble. Unloads. He's got Jeffries wide open, but it's hanging up there, and a flag will go down on Carnell Lake.
He had no choice.
The rookie Carnell Lake out of UCLA.
If he doesn't do that, Jeffries may catch the ball and go all the way. Lake never saw the ball. He had to play the man like they do in hockey.
Defense pass interference number 37. First down.
How did he get so wide open?
It looked like
Right
Thomas Everett, the weak safety, was the man in coverage. He may have slipped. Actually, Lake makes a smart play here. Take no chances. Make sure he can't catch it. Break a tackle and run the distance. Just break up the play.
All the way down to the 35-yard line. What a turn of events on that penalty. Lorenzo White, who fumbled on his last carry, breaks free this time, and Lorenzo White spinning. Boy, he has the right snowshoes on, doesn't he, to hold on to his footing right there, and he weaves all the way down close to the 10-yard line.
Well, you could see him protecting that ball, too, Jim. He really had it tucked in there against his ribs. They have been running to the right today a great deal. This time, they're running right at Aaron Jones. Steinkühler does a good job. Morosco does a great job getting Hinkle out of there. So that was a 46-yard penalty, followed by that big run.
And they're at the 15-yard line. First down, and once again, here come the Steelers across the line quickly. No flag on this play, though, as Lorenzo White, instead of running right, runs left and gets down near the 11-yard line. The Steelers were jumping, but apparently stayed out of the neutral zone. Here's the ticker, 21-0 Cincinnati. You surprised by that, Trump?
Yeah, very much so.
In Cleveland, no less.
Cleveland.
Now, Miami is snuggled up close to Kansas City. The Dolphins started the day one back of the Bills in the AFC East. New England's got ahead of Indianapolis in that game. The Giants are tied now. Tampa Bay goes ahead of Green Bay. And we've got second down and 7. The ball is at the 12-yard line. Gibbons is in motion for Houston. White gets the ball. The pack just pushes forward there as we are coming up to a half minute remaining here in the third quarter. Aaron Jones is in on the tackle for the Steelers with Gerald Williams. It will be third down and about 2.
Jim, I was just going to say, I don't think they'll run another play. I think they'll let the time expire in the third quarter, and then they'll have to go into the wind for the final quarter.
Chuck Noll looking on. The numbers tell you that if they give up a touchdown on this drive, they're in a lot of trouble. They would go 10 down. A field goal would be really what they would try and hold the Oilers to, as we are down to 1 quarter remaining here in Pittsburgh. The Oilers leading by 3, 16-13, and we'll be back. And Pittsburgh Steelers, all rights reserved. Hello from Pittsburgh. Jim Donovan and Bob Trumpy. That's the weather situation. Here's the score by quarters. Steelers led actually 10-0. Then Houston came back with 2 late Warren Moon touchdown passes, one to Duncan, one to Drew Hill on a marvelous catch right before halftime. And the Oilers led 14-10. The 2 points for the Oilers came by way of a safety, Harry Newsom getting trapped in the end zone, and a field goal for Pittsburgh. It's 16-13. Houston has fumbled 6 times today and lost 3. And they have the ball 3rd down and 3 as we start the 4th quarter. The ball is on the Pittsburgh 8. Moon fumbles the snap. The ball is kicked deep back to the 16 where Lorenzo White has it.
Oh, he was very lucky. You know, White, as opposed to falling on that ball, appeared to go back there to try to pick it up. That's the 7th fumble of the day now for Houston. And they've lost 3. Zendejas on for the field goal. So Pittsburgh really, one, they didn't jump off sides or get in the neutral zone. Now watch White. He tries to pick this up. He should just fall on it.
Zendejas ready to go now out of the hold of Montgomery. The snap from the line of scrimmage is at the 19. The placement makes it a 37-yard field goal attempt for Zendejas. On its way, not even close. Wide left. And it is still a 3-point game. And remember, the Steelers now have the win.
Snap is good. Spot is good. He hooks it.
So the reaction by Zendejas, no good, and we'll be back to Pittsburgh. He missed his only attempt last week, and after hitting 8 in a row, he's now missed 2 in a row.
On the Pittsburgh side of the ball, last week they got 5 turnovers that resulted in 17 points. Today they picked up 3 fumbles. It's only produced 3 points, but they got 8 turnovers in 2 weeks.
Ball is at the 20-yard line. They are down by 3 with Lips in motion. The pitch out goes to Worley. And he skates out of bounds over on the Houston sideline. Fuller runs him out. William Fuller chases him back.
This team is amazing. They start the season with all those fumbles against Cleveland.
And he did, too. He had a terrible day.
And last week in a driving rainstorm where I swear I saw someone building an ark down in Miami. And today in the snow, Pittsburgh has not turned the ball over.
Worley with 84 yards rushing on a tough day to rush. So it is 2nd down at 7. They give him 3 on that 1st down carry. It's Hodge and Worley in the backfield. 14:04 left in regulation time. Worley out of the backfield in motion. Brister looking for Worley. Drops at the 40-yard line. He was wide open, and a flag goes down.
They're going to call that on Jeff Donaldson for a late hit. I don't think Donaldson ever saw it. I think he thought that Worley caught the ball.
Well, he's been down this street before and seeing that signal, personal foul against his team.
Worley comes out in motion late. Brister looks at him.
Personal foul on number 31. That's a 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. And it's 1st down.
I take it back. I said that Jeff Donaldson didn't see him drop the ball. He most certainly did see him drop the ball and still went up there and hit him. Not a particularly smart play.
Jerry Glanville loves that player, J.D., Jeff Donaldson. And Donaldson is playing with a lot of aches and pains. He tried to dish one out right there and gets nailed for it. So a big, big penalty. Glanville looks out and sees that his defense on that penalty now has given Pittsburgh the ball at their own 38, and more importantly, 1st and 10 with 14 minutes left. Merrill Hodge reverse to Lips, back to Brister. We're going to have some fun here, huh? Yes, Derek Hill out to the 44, loose football, and it's picked up by the Steelers. What a play.
Wait a minute.
That's like a rundown in baseball.
Absolutely.
If you're trying to score that one.
How many people touched that ball before it stopped? We've got a Houston Oiler down.
Eric Fairs.
And it looks like they're going to count the fumble. So it's going to pick up about 2 yards on that entire play. That's Eric Fairs down there with the medical staff around him.
And we'll check out the condition of Eric Fairs as he remains down on the turf here at Three River Stadium. 13:41 left, regulation time. And Houston leads by a field goal, 16-13, trying to go into first place today, trying to hang on in Pittsburgh.
They predicted a gloomy year for everyone. But they didn't count on Mazda, with cars and trucks engineered to feel just right. Now Mazda is racing toward an all-time sales record, with record-setting deals that can save you up to $1,000 now. So come get a record-setting deal at the Mazda Race.
The snow coming down as hard as it has all day long now, with 13:39 left here in this game.
With all the snow on the ground, surprising they would try this play. They do end up with a couple of yards.
Just a couple, though. Second down at 6. The ball is at the 42. Their own 42. That's the tight end Malarkey in motion. Worley gets the carry. Worley running hard. Worley a first down. Bubba McDowell on the tackle for the Oilers. And the ball's right at the midfield stripe.
With that wind at their back. Look, that's David Little, the inside linebacker, drawing plays in the snow. The only time you can draw on the AstroTurf.
He's talking to Dave Arnold there on the bench. Worley now with 92 yards rushing. 1st and 10. Steelers from the 49. They'll go Merrill Hodges' way, and Hodge bangs inside the 45-yard line to the 44. And that's Richard Byrd on the tackle. Byrd had such a sore back last week in Kansas City, he had to sleep on the floor of his hotel room. Pittsburgh with 136 on the day. 92 goes to the rookie from Georgia.
Last week he hit 95 against Miami on 22 carries. Houston defense is in big trouble here because you can see they can't really get a pass rush. They got to be very loose in their coverage. Carter's closest guy to him is 5 yards away when he makes that catch. And that picks up the first down, but it looks like they're going to measure it. We were a little quick with the first down call.
Brister over to the sideline with Tom Moore, the offensive coordinator. The chains come in. Really now very, very hard to make spots and things like that because the yard line markers are wiped out by the snow.
There's a little marker on the chain if you're wondering how they do this, and they put it in the middle of the next line. Not there, but at the other end of the chain. They wipe the snow away, put it in the middle of the line. There's a little marker on there, and then they can determine whether or not it's a first down.
And it is. Now remember, the big play right here has to be that Donaldson personal foul, Bob. Go back to that play. And Jerry Glanville looking down at the notes right now, trying to find a way to come up with some traction. That's very important, and trying to find a way to stop the Steelers.
Yeah, this is also a bump and run defense. Their cornerbacks like to get up and pressure the wide receivers. But with this footing and this snow, it's very difficult to do that. And if you do bump and run them, you're taking a heck of a chance. In fact, Brown and Allen are a good 8 yards off.
So from the 39-yard line, they're going to reverse it again. Yes, Lips. Lips cut back. And up near another first down. In fact, he'll have it.
That's 3 times now they've run that reverse. They got 23 yards on 2 carries in the first half. He gets 12 on that one. That's 3 carries for 35 yards on the same play. You can see the defense going back and forth, missing a lot of footing. Al Smith finally there to assist on the tackle, but another first down, Pittsburgh.
When we talked to Bubby Brister yesterday, he told us that they had worked an awful lot on the reverse. Here's Lips in motion, 1st and 10. The ball is at the Houston 28. Worley fumbles. Houston saying they have it. And the official says, no, Pittsburgh ball. Richard Byrd is right in there. I think you'll find 71 in white. He was trying to come up with the ball. Yeah, there he is. And Worley ends up hanging on, but he did lose contact with the football and got it back.
Not much to the play, but you can see Fuller, 95, I believe, is the guy who makes the contact, gets the ball loose, and then that arm comes out there and wham, right back in his chest. Well, Pittsburgh hangs on.
2nd down and 9. Snow really coming down and the wind blowing. The Steelers have that wind behind their back as Lips comes in motion again. Another reverse. Is he going to throw it? No, he'll keep it. But he had it up like he was going to throw it, and then finally Steve Brown takes him down.
Merrill Hodge was the guy who was the intended receiver. No question it was a reverse pass. They've run it 3 times for good yardage, and this time they're going to try the pass, but it was well covered by Houston. Hodge is the back. You see him release on the outside there, but he's well covered, so Lips has got to run it. Brings up 3rd down and 4.
Bob, I go back to earlier in the season. Houston lost to Cleveland, and the Browns used 3 or 4 gadget plays like this to beat them. And it was because Houston is so intent on fighting up and covering so up tight to the line of scrimmage, with Rodney Carter checking in now in the backfield in motion, that they over-pursued a lot. Here's Brister. Merrill Hodge has it. And a 1st down. And he slides out of bounds close to the 10-yard line.
This drive started at the Pittsburgh 20. They have done an excellent job of hanging on to the football. Hodge again. He's got blitz control. No blitz. He releases out in the flat. Eric Bears, 51 is the closest man. Hodge makes a good catch. 1st down pickup, and if it's inside the 10, I'll take your word for it.
Actually, they're saying the 15. The 15-yard line, so that means, of course, they can get another 1st down. 1st and 10 from the 15 with 9:13 left. That's Malarkey in motion. And this is Worley. Away from one tackle, but dragged down. William Fuller brings him down by the ankles.
Means missed him. Just lost his footing just before he's to accelerate to the tackle. Well, I'm shocked. I'm amazed. Pittsburgh has not lost the ball in the 2 weeks with all the rain yet last week and the snow today.
That's what's coming up tonight, a fact-based drama about the life of NBA star Isaiah Thomas and how his mother fought to give him the chance he needed. Alfre Woodard stars in A Mother's Courage, the Mary Thomas story, then a brand new comedy starring Ann Gillian, followed by Sister Kate. And don't miss a special preview of a new series coming to NBC, True Blue. 99 yards rushing for Worley, the rookie. Malarkey in motion, 2nd down and 5. Worley again for Couple. Richard Byrd on the tackle. And he's over 100 now for the day.
And that's just the 2nd time the running back has gone over 100 yards rushing against this Houston defense. James Brooks of Cincinnati was the other, but the turnovers have killed Houston. They've had 7 fumbles, lost 3. Pittsburgh has fumbled it once and recovered it. They have not lost the ball.
We're going to get a measurement now to see if Worley picked up the 1st down. 104 on the day. He had 95 last week in Miami, but he goes over 100 today.
I was shocked. He told me yesterday, as we look at the measurement, that's short. He told me yesterday at Georgia, the most times he ever carried the ball was 24 times. Herschel Walker carried it 35 or 40 times when he was down there.
So it will be 3rd down and inches. Chuck Noll, 3 points down with 8:09 left. Wolfley has checked into the lineup now as an eligible receiver, but on that offensive line for extra blocking. Greg Wolfley is in. 3rd down, less than 1, just inches. The ball at the 6. Let's see what they do. Hodge and Worley in the backfield. They've got a 1st and goal, Pittsburgh. It's Worley. Like a counterplay, wasn't it?
Very much a counterplay. They flanked 2 guys out to the right, kind of spread the defense. Offsides defense. They'll get half the distance to the goal. It'll make it first down.
And they would have had the first down anyway after the run.
Now, last week against Miami, Jim, they had Wolfley lined up as a flanker, and he trapped the nose tackle on a couple of plays. This week,
lined up in the neutral zone. They declined the penalty because the game was giving them farther point at the first down.
See if we can see somebody in the neutral zone. Yeah, it looks like this side, the near side of the defensive line, is lined up in the neutral zone. Well, it's first and goal at what, the 2.5?
In the meantime, while all of this is going on, down off to our right at the opposite end of the field, there's a plow out on the field, and they're clearing off the yard markers. There it is. But it's first and goal from the 2 in the snow. Hodge did not get in. So this takes us back to the famous game, New England playing Miami. Remember when Ron Myers was the head coach of the Patriots?
Yeah, it is strange that this near line is the line where the kickoff would take place.
It will be second down and goal. 21-0. Remember, Kozar's been lifted in favor of Pagel in the 4th. Kansas City hanging on against Miami. Indianapolis back on top over New England. Those are the other scores going on, all in the 4th quarter. Pittsburgh has 169 yards rushing. It is second down and goal. Gardner in motion. Hodge the carry. Bang. Scraps. Didn't get in. That's the rookie out of the University of Houston, Glenn Montgomery, who is in there right now at a nose tackle spot. He comes in and makes the stop. He's nicknamed Too Short because everybody said he was too short to play in the NFL.
He's like a tree stump. A lot of what he has is below his waist, and it's hard to get him out of there.
Third down conversions, and a big one coming up right now. Pittsburgh is 5 for 12.
Well, you got to think that if Bubby Brister's healthy, oh, here's Wolfley on the wham. Watch him coming in motion. See him lined up as the flanker.
Third down and goal, and they set him in motion. Brister keeps it. No one to throw to. Near side, fires. Incomplete, intended for Terry O'Shea, the tight end.
Tim Worley was wide open in the end zone. Bubby didn't see him, but the near side of the end zone, he was standing there. And, Jim, there was no one within 10 yards of it.
Now, in which rollout? On the first one?
No. When he came back to the left, Tim Worley was way out there in the corner of the end zone, wide open. Not Craig Wolfley, Tim Worley. And Bubby couldn't get him the ball.
Gary Anderson comes in for the field goal attempt. For the second time now today, Houston comes up with a big defensive stand inside their 5-yard line. This is for the tie game. Again, 18-yard attempt. That's what he hit earlier in the ball game. And we are tied with 5:43 left in regulation time. 16-16 in the red-hot AFC Central Division. This one's going right down to the wire here in Pittsburgh.
By Bubby Brister. When we pick it up here, he's already rolled to the right. Now he comes back to the left. Everybody's waving their hands. Hodge, 33, O'Shea, 85. Look at Worley over in the left corner. Wait. Oh, man, I'm wide open over the ball. I can't beat him more open. Can you find me? I'm a big guy. Come on. But it ends up in a field goal.
It took 17 plays, 79 yards, 8:27 off the clock. And it ends up in an 18-yard field goal by Anderson. His third field goal of the game, his second from that distance. And we're tied 16-16 with 5:43 left.
Jerry Glanville, he's standing there. The brush, the Zamboni, has cleaned off the spot where the kicker kicks. And now Glanville is saying, wait a minute, that's not fair. You can't give an advantage to the kickoff team. That's not right. There's Ben Wright saying, now they're cleaning off the line for Houston. That's no advantage for Houston. It can be an advantage for Pittsburgh. They have the wind, and Anderson should have pretty good footing.
Saying, I don't know what he's saying, but he's not happy about the plow coming out, and Ben Wright kind of getting a chuckle right now. There it is, and it's out clearing along the end lines, and the sidelines, but as quickly as he does it, the snow just comes right back and covers it up. But I think they're doing it for the spots. You know, where they're going to spot the ball on the end lines. At about 1 o'clock this afternoon Eastern time, it looked like a typical early winter day. And that's where we are right now with 5:43 left in regulation time. The plow has been out 3 times. Once at halftime, a little bit earlier, and now right here with this 5:43 remaining. Anderson has the ball blow off the tee. 16-16. Houston started the day a half game out of first place in the AFC Central Division. Pittsburgh was a game and a half out, along with Cincinnati. Cleveland led the pack. But the reports, as we have shown you from Cleveland, Bengals romping over the Browns 21-0 in Cleveland. And here it's tied 16-16.
Now Houston's got real problems. There you see the Cincinnati-Cleveland score. Houston is very much against the wind. So a field goal, and Zendejas has already missed from 38 yards. So they're going to have to get an awful lot of yards, and they've already fumbled 7 times today and lost 3 as you look at the records of the teams in the AFC Central.
At the start of the day. Second half of the doubleheader coming up on most of these NBC stations. Denver 10-2. They're already wrapped up their division. They're into the playoffs against the LA Raiders out in LA, out at the Coliseum, as the Raiders still have wild card hopes alive. Anderson kicks it away. Kenny Johnson took it in the end zone, and it will be a touchback. Now, in the spirit of good plowing, Bob, here's how they are ruling. They're ruling that they are plowing both 35s and the 50. Okay? That's what they've done here today. The replay official, Cal Lepore, made that ruling, and there it is. See the 50 and the 2 35s.
So what? What does that do?
16-16. 5:37 left, as you see in the corner of your screen, and here we go. First and 10 from the Houston 20. Lorenzo White. Good run by White. Started right, then cut it back up the middle. Let's go around the league right now.
One of the problems Houston has is they just sat for 8 minutes and 27 seconds, so they come out on this very important drive cold.
Kansas City wins, Bob, over Miami. Miami loses for the second week in a row. 16-15 the Colts over the Patriots. All fourth quarter scores. The Eagles leading the Giants. And our other games, another final. San Francisco wins. Second down and 6. Houston from their own 24. They go back to Lorenzo White. And he is dragged down by Brian Hinkle. David Little is there too, along with Olszewski, as the linebackers all team up.
Tim Johnson also there. There's the late scores. Now Houston in a situation where at 3rd and 3, they generally go with their red gun offense, which is what they're going with. They've got 4 wide receivers in the game. I think Alonzo Highsmith is the lone running back in a crucial 3rd down situation.
They are 50-50 on 3rd down conversions. 5 for 10. 3rd down 4. He's got Haywood Jeffries for a first down. He's about 2 yards beyond the stick, and he has the first down with 4 minutes to go in regulation.
Now, Jim, I got to tell you, I don't know why Houston's going out of this formation. You see the 4 wide receivers leave, the regular set come in, but the defensive coverage, because of the lack of real footing out here, look how loose it is. So they got, there's a good 5 set. That's Delton Hall. That's a good 8 yards away from the receiver as the ball's thrown. They could do that for the rest of this drive.
First and 10 at the 32. Back to Lorenzo White. And he's up to the 35. They might give him the 36-yard line. David Little once again, along with Brian Hinkle. You notice the linebackers are now getting more and more involved for the Steelers. Lorenzo White now having a great day with 87 yards rushing, but a big fumble that last time that started that Pittsburgh drive.
And now 2nd down and 8, and it looks like Houston is coming with the 4 wide receivers. There's Joe Green, the defensive line coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's see. Yeah, they do have 4 wides. I think this works for them. I really do.
2:48 and a full complement of timeouts on 2nd down. Moon going to air it out.
Oh.
Going long. Jeffries is there.
Oh!
Got it, but is he in bounds? Yes, they're saying.
Whoa! Delton Hall on the coverage. He fakes the hitch. Warren Moon against the wind. Puts that baby up. Watch this catch. Drew Hill had a great one at the end of the first half. Jeffries catches it. 37 yards. Oh, I don't know how you're ever going to overrule that one. If that's close, where's the sideline? Can you see where the sideline is?
All right, there's one.
And his elbow is on. I don't know if he's in or out. I haven't the slightest idea. It looks like there's the line. I can see the line. 1. Okay, there's 2 ways to look at this. He's either out of bounds or the field judge says he was forced out of bounds by Rod Woodson. If so, they can still rule it a catch. But I repeat, because the line is so obscured by the snow, I'm not sure the replay guy can overrule that one. Is there contact by Woodson? Would he have come down in bounds without the touch? Well, no matter which way they rule this, they'll discuss this one for a long time. It is ruled a catch, and unfortunately the game is now in the hands of the first call. There's Cal Lepore standing up with the glasses. Now he sits down to look at the replay again.
A replay official's nightmare here.
Yes.
In Pittsburgh, Chuck Noll anxiously waiting this decision, as is that man, Jerry Glanville. It's Haywood Jeffries and Rod Woodson. Jeffries clearly has the ball and possession and at least 1 foot.
You can see where the line is there. I don't know if there's enough evidence to overrule that. I mean, whatever the official calls first is probably what it's going to end up. Cal Lepore has had some tough calls today. You know that? The replay official has been put to work today. The man standing there in the picture is Eddie White. He's the NFL communicator. Cal Lepore is pouring over that tape, trying to find something that he didn't see the last time.
Well, there's the guy that caught it, Haywood Jeffries and Jerry Glanville on the sideline. The Oilers waiting for the call. Now, it's interesting. The Pittsburgh defense is pointing back. It's no catch. And the Oiler off. There you see it. See him right there. 78 right there. That's Tim Johnson saying, take it back. And on the other side, the Houston Oilers offense is waving. No, it's a good catch.
Sure. If you're in Pittsburgh, that's no catch. Anybody watching television. If you're in the state of Texas, sure, it's a catch. Come on. What's the holdup?
More football coming up right here on NBC. We'll get you there sooner or later, but we got a great finish coming here with 2:39 left in regulation time. That's what's coming up. Denver against the LA Raiders, as the Raiders at home trying to get a badly needed win today to keep their wild card playoff hopes alive. This is a very important review by the replay official, Cal Lepore, and his 6th review of the day.
He's had no easy ones either. By the way, Jim, while we have a moment, and we're going back to Houston, I'm sure you'd agree with me that we'd like to congratulate Jack Pardee, University of Houston, and Andre Ware for winning the Heisman Trophy.
Congratulations. Boy, he had to do it by word of mouth with Houston being a program on probation. No televised games this year. And now I think we might be ready to get the official marking here.
I don't think so.
But congratulations to Andre Ware, back at the University of Houston, the Heisman Trophy Award winner.
The numbers he threw for the University of Houston are only comparable to Dan Marino's numbers with Miami Dolphins back in 1984. The touchdowns he threw for and the yards.
So the coaches wait.
After further review, the play stands.
It's a good catch.
I don't know if this makes any difference, but if the official on the spot rules he's out of bounds, that stands too. When the catch is made, and whatever the official says in that situation, I don't think the replay official had any chance to overturn that.
2:39 left. The ball is at the Pittsburgh 27-yard line. It is 16-16. White nowhere to go, so he hangs on to the football. That's the smartest thing you can do in that situation. And Keith Willis drags him down along with Brian Hinkle. In the fourth quarter, still battling it out in Cleveland, but the Bengals are on their way to win. And those final scores, Kansas City's now 6-6-1, and at Green Bay next week. Detroit, their second consecutive win. They beat New Orleans 21-14. The Rams come back and beat Dallas, and San Francisco's a winner again. And the Raiders have a field goal on Denver as we come down to the 2-minute warning in regulation time as the late games are underway. 2 minutes to go, regulation time. Hang in there in snowy Pittsburgh. We're tied. Minutes to go. And in a locked at a 16-16 tie right now, Trump, between the Oilers and Steelers.
And you can see that the footing is no good. Keith Willis actually has a kind of a doormat out there that he's scraping the snow off. It's a thing to, there he is. It's a thing to clean off his spikes, and he hands it, there it is, he hands it to the equipment man, or the ball guy, as he runs off the field. Now, Houston has got their 4 wide receivers in the ball game, Jim, and they have had great luck just with running the hitch. I think it works in this situation I don't think Pittsburgh wants to get up there and bump and run. They've got all their timeouts left. I'm not sure Jerry Glanville trusts Lewis and Dejas, no matter what the distance is. Tony. There's Rod Russ, the defensive coordinator of Pittsburgh, and he's in a bind. That big catch, or non-catch, ruled catch by Haywood Jeffries, really put Pittsburgh down a tough spot.
Second down 9. It's at the 26 of Pittsburgh. 2 minutes left.
I was wrong. They don't have 4 wide receivers in the game. I'm shocked.
I formation. The blocking back slipped. That was Highsmith, but White got the corner anyway. And gets up near a first down. In fact, the spot might come right at the stick, and he could have another Houston first down. Underneath 2 minutes now, 1:54 left.
They go with 2 tight ends. Watch Highsmith slip. There's basically not much of a block out there, although Highsmith does get on Carnell Lake. Looks like it is a first down.
First down, Houston. Lorenzo White did not start the game. Mike Rozier started at that running back spot. Fumbled on their first possession, and it's been White ever since. And Lorenzo White has 100 for the day. Curtis Duncan down the line in motion, 1st and 10. White again. If he could go, he could go. He's to the 5. Dives down by the 1-yard line. He is not in. With 1:40, and it's running.
Oh, this is an absolute shock. Houston starts this drive at about their own 20-yard line. The big play, the catch by Haywood Jeffries. Jerry Glanville's got to be overjoyed at this drive.
Bob, let me ask you this. Do you milk some time here, or do you go right in and get it?
Oh, no, I'd go right in and get it.
White now with 114 yards. 2 minutes left in Cleveland. The Bengals lead 21-0. They are home free there.
They got to hang on to the football here, Jim.
Moon to White. No signal, no touchdown. David Little is asking the bench, do you want the timeout right now? 54 seconds, 53 seconds running down. They only have 1 left.
I'm serious. I don't know if I'd take a chance with Tony Zendejas, even from extra point range. You said he's missed his last 2 kicks in a row, 1 already today.
Jerry Glanville looking up at the clock, 35 seconds. It's running down. He has all of his timeouts left. They are at the 1-yard line. Warren Moon sets up with Highsmith and White behind him. So Lorenzo White up and over and in. Touchdown, Houston. Celebration on the Oilers sideline with 21 seconds left in regulation time. What a game for Lorenzo White.
What a struggle for both teams. Bad footing, big plays. White, 23 carries, 115 yards.
And Zendejas will now come in and try and tack on the extra point with 21 seconds left. Crowd heading out here at Three River Stadium. Montgomery to hold. An 80-yard drive for the Oilers. The kicking is good, and it's 23-16. You can hear a pin drop in 98% of the stadium except on that sideline. And with the touchdown ball, Lorenzo White. It's time for the Most Valuable Player Award, sponsored by Budweiser. Today's MVP, getting the hugs right there from Richard Johnson, is Lorenzo White of the Houston Oilers. Budweiser will make a contribution to the United Way on behalf of all the MVPs selected in today's games.
Not bad for a guy who was not scheduled to play much. Didn't start. Rozier has a fumble. Lorenzo White goes in the ball game.
All right, if Cincinnati wins and Houston wins, and they are both very close now, Houston would go into first place. Cleveland would go a half game behind them. Cincinnati and Pittsburgh now would drop to 6 and 7. Cincinnati would go to 7 and 6 and be one game out. And remember, they play Houston and Cincinnati, right? In Cincinnati in 2 weeks. The Oilers have Tampa Bay next week. Then they go to Riverfront. And then they have Cleveland at the House of Pain.
A lot yet to be decided in this division, huh?
Oh, this should be a great finish here. I want to thank our spotters up here in the booth today, Tim Fogarty and Mike McGinley. The reaction of Jerry Glanville on the touchdown by Lorenzo White.
What a drive. 80 yards. Of course, last year they had to play in 2 successive weeks in Cleveland in snow and bad weather. This team has historically not been a very good team on the road.
It's a final score now in Cleveland. The Cincinnati Bengals have gone in there and won today. In fact, they've pitched a shutout, 21-0. If the Oilers hang on for the final 21 seconds, they'll be in first place. But let's see if Rod Woodson has one bit of magic left as he rolls into the Oiler bench. Boy, I bet there were a lot of sighs of relief when he ran out of bounds, because Woodson with the ball, at least if you're an Oiler fan, is so dangerous. That's what it will look like if our final scores hold up. And, of course, that is what Cleveland and Cincinnati are at right now, because that's the final 21-0. The Bengals win that game.
Jim, remember the 2 timeouts that Pittsburgh took early in the second half? They have 1 left with 15 seconds. And it looks like about, 65 yards to go for a score?
They're at the 39-yard line. George Jordan and John Rooney were on our stats today, and we thank them. Here's Bubby Brister now looking for the big play. Up in the air we go. Incomplete down at the 10-yard line with 8 seconds left. 23-16. Houston goes 80 yards late here on a snow-covered field at Three River Stadium and scores on Lorenzo White.
And here was the big play. The catch the run by Lorenzo White for the score. He dives over, and that was the 6 points.
Sounds like a cherry bomb just went off in the stands. 8 seconds left. Bubby Brister lines him up. 3 on the top of your screen. Brister back. Airs it out. Loose ball, fighting for it, and the Oilers have it. There you have it. Oilers come up with the win. That's it here from Pittsburgh. For Bob Trumpy, this is Jim Donovan saying goodbye from Pittsburgh. Stay tuned for some more football. 23-16, the Oilers are in first place in the Red Hot